Next stop on the Week 10 schedule is Regina SSK, a place where the Roughriders haven't lost to the Redblacks in almost 8 years. 0-7 Ottawa made some big changes during the week, but will it be enough for the team to get its first win of the season? It's Friday Night Football. It's here on TSN.
Trevor Harris is only 49 yards away from 40,000 yards in his career. Will he be the 13th player to do that? He might be able to do that before the end of the first quarter, guys.
Oh, that's dirty.
It's reality. It's 49.
Well, Jake Mayer, he's just trying to get his first victory as an Ottawa Redblack. But even more important than that, he's trying to help these Ottawa Redblacks get their first victory of 2026. And what better night than to do it than tonight?
Well, the injuries are starting to pile up for the defending champs. The Riders are thin at receiver, which means Keyshawn Johnson could be in for a big night. He's already had one against Ottawa this season after he hauled in a career-best 137 yards in their Week 5 win. And with that, we officially welcome you to Friday Night Football Week 10 edition here on TSN. I'm Laura Dyken, joined alongside Enoch Mwamba as well as Milt Stiegel. So we're almost at the halfway point of the regular season. Week 10, double digits. And yes, here are the Ottawa Redblacks still searching for their first win of 2026 as we welcome in Britt Dort, who is standing by at Mosaic in Regina. But Britt, you know, maybe these Redblacks are getting the Riders at just the right time because the defending champs have been bit by that injury bug.
Yeah, and Laura, just 2 weeks ago at their last home game, I stood here and talked about the luxury that it was when Keyshawn Johnson, Kean Schaefer-Baker, and Sam Emilus were all healthy and in the lineup at the same time. All three of them got a touchdown in that game. Then last week, Sam Emilus, listed as questionable, ended up not playing. This week, he's moved to the 6th game. So is Kean Schaefer-Baker. Now, head coach Corey Mace said we're at the midpoint of the season, like you mentioned, so maybe can't rule these guys out for the entire year. However, they're joining A.J. Ouellette, Roland Milligan, and Tavon Campbell on that 6th game. A lot of key pieces missing from that lineup. Now, of course, Trevor Harris was asked about these injuries on his offense, and he said, well, it's up to us veterans to really make sure the guys coming in know their role. He pointed to his new receivers in Del Duncan Busby, Johnny Johnson, his newcomer, Dylan Jette, as well as Deshaun Mims, and he said, it's up to me to understand what these receivers do well, how I can get them to see some success on their routes. Of course, he was also asked about facing an 0-7 Redblacks team, and he pointed to a game 2 years ago when the Edmonton Elks were 0-7 and the Riders had this exact same record. They were 5-2. And guess who came out on top in that game? It was Edmonton. Of course, you mentioned the Redblacks shaking some things up. Of course, Jeff Reinbold coming in as the DC. He was on special teams. He talked a lot about just trying to bring some positivity to this group. He told them this week, losing doesn't last forever. Eventually, it has to turn things around, and it's up to you to do that. And so, did he talk about the defensive schemes he's going to try to run? Not totally, but he did say it's easier for him to kind of learn about 40 guys, what they do well and how to fix it, than 40 guys to try to learn what he has in store in 1 week's time. Of course, Harris also mentioned that, it is a challenge to face a DC that you haven't seen yet and you don't know what they're going to throw at you, but talked about the fact that he feels like the Riders adjust well on the fly. That's something they do well so far this season. Now, I will say, Milt Stiegel, I heard you talk about Reinbold being one of your favorite coaches of all time. He gave some love back, and he said, you're one of the best players to coach of all time. So, Laura, no shock, though. Milt Stiegel, who doesn't love him?
It almost felt like we scored a bunch of points tonight, but then once we got inside the 5.
Mayer, keeper, in trouble, and he's taken down.
To an embarrassing level, to be truthful to you.
Gets it away, taken away, and Ottawa's offense continues to stall.
Man, really poor execution by all of us.
They hand it off, nowhere to go.
Cannot even fathom what I just watched.
You get stopped 3 times inside the 5-yard line. That's the story for me.
Yes, we're going to start things off talking about those Ottawa Redblacks and an issue that keeps coming up throughout this season. We saw another example of that last week against Montreal. Yes, they were able to move the football, but then it was like a calamity of errors once they got into the red zone. So 5 trips inside the red zone resulted in a touchdown, 2 field goals, a turnover on downs, and an interception. But Enoch, is that the biggest issue with this team right now?
There's plenty of issues. But absolutely, if you want to win games, you got to put points on the board. And if you're not able to convert in the red zone, that is going to hurt tremendously. And so this team is just in disarray when it comes to this place on the field. They don't know where to go with the ball, and plus they're not a balanced offense. They don't run offense, so they're very predictable from a defensive standpoint and point of view. So it's just difficult. And again, you want to be able to win a game, you got to put points on the board. When you get to the red zone, you got to get in there.
You got to be able to stop opposing teams also. And as Britt mentioned, Jeff Reinbold basically had more impact on my football career than any coach I ever had, and I wish him the best. But if he can pull this one off today, he deserves to get another head coaching job, because it's going to be a difficult task, what he has in front of him. And I have a laundry list of things that this defense is either worst in the league or second worst. Points allowed, opponent's net offense, opponent's pass efficiency rate, yards after catch, opponent's second down conversion rate, sacks made, forced fumbles, fumbles recovered, opponent's red zone plays. This team has lost 3 games by 20 points or more. And at the professional level, if you're losing by double digits on a consistent basis, it's not the coaches, it's the players. It's not the jockey, it's the horses. So I hope Jeff Reinbold, his scheme, can figure things out, but it's going to be a difficult task because this defense right now, the players on the field are just not getting it done.
And the players on the other side of the field are getting it done. So we'll talk about the Riders in just a little bit. But yeah, they've been outscored 247 to 166 in those 7 losses this season. And you mentioned Enoch. There is a lot of issues for this football team. And we're kind of curious, like, what did they do in practice this week? What were they focusing on, do you think?
Oh, man, I'm sure that they're focusing on execution. You want to be able to put points on the board, but like Mick was talking about as well, you want to be able to stop the offenses as well. And it's just tough. Mid-season like this, or close to halfway through the season, and you're changing coaching staff, it's always difficult. I've been in this situation before, and the new coach will come in and say, hey, okay, what has been done before and what can we hold on to? But I also have my own philosophy and strategy that I want to utilize, and so it is going to be difficult to apply that in this type of game, unless, like we talked about in the green room, you think they're going to be blitzing quite a bit tonight.
Well, I don't know. I know Jeff Reinbold. He likes to take chances, but you got to be smart with these guys. You just can't, blitz a guy like Trevor Harris. And
high risk, high reward.
The worst thing that can happen now with this team is guys start getting selfish. Thinking about themselves, thinking about, okay, hold on, they just cut Eugene Lewis. We just fired a defensive coordinator. I got to keep paying my bills, so I got to make sure I'm still on this team. I got to make sure I'm still able to take care of my family. And when that happens, once that seeks in, that's when you really got a problem. And I've been on teams like that, unfortunately, where guys were saying, I'm thinking about myself. I'm worrying about myself being on this field. Yes, I want to win the team, but at the end of the day, I got to make sure I get my numbers. And that's when it's a problem.
And I'm interested to watch the energy from this team, because this was a pivotal week for this team with all the changes that's happened. And you're right. You're looking at each other saying, hey, what's going to happen next week if we lose again? I want to see what kind of effort this team is going to bring, because that's how you can tell if this coaching staff still has a locker room.
And one of the things, at least, that could work in their favor, Mosaic isn't that fortress it used to be, because the Riders have already lost twice there this season. But yep, that Redblacks offense will now have to contend with a Riders defense that's given up the fewest passing touchdowns this season. Not an easy assignment for Aiden Eberhardt and company. Our pregame show is just getting started on this Friday night.
Jake Mayer, he will be QB1 for this Redblacks squad. The reason he believes he actually earned it this time is because of his work he put in Saskatchewan last year, backing up Trevor Harris.
Mayer, Eberhardt, back in the end zone! Touchdown, Redblacks!
Ryan Dinwiddie said, Jake Mayer is my guy.
Here's Mayer to the right, down to the goal line for an Ottawa touchdown.
He did give Ryan Dinwiddie reasons to believe that he's a quarterback that they can invest in.
I got to give it to Jake Mayer. All of a sudden, he looks really comfortable in this offense.
We may have saved the best for last in week 9 as we are set for a huge rematch. Johnson, a little bit of room, and look at him go. What a response. He'll find midfield, and here he goes. Touchdown, Riders. What a start to this rematch. Held on to by Schaefer Baker. What a bounce. Right place, right time. Touchdown, Riders. Tommy's got 2. They'll go on the ground. Conley, look at him! Oh, the reverse hurdle! Did you see that? Spectacular stuff. Touchdown Riders, a hat trick for Big Tommy. Drops it in there! Touchdown Riders! Saskatchewan spoils the big party here at Commonwealth.
Yeah, so the Riders coming off that split of the home and home, those very entertaining games against the Elks, but two very different games, right? Week 8, back and forth, offensive affair. Last week it was about defense, a little physical as well. We heard Britt kind of going down the list of all of the injuries to Saskatchewan right now. Any concerns with that, Mr. Stiegel?
And I hate to be so blunt, but not today. Not today.
Not today, Junior.
Because they're playing Ottawa. Let's be honest, because they're playing Ottawa. And if they were playing, you know, the Elks or maybe Montreal or Winnipeg, BC maybe, but definitely those upper echelon teams, there'd be some concerns. But they have that man at the helm. And I know he's missing, you know, 2 of his top receivers. They have some injuries on defense. But as long as he's at the helm, they're good against a team like Ottawa. And like I said, I hate to be so blunt, but let's be honest. This team defensively, Ottawa, hadn't been able to stop much, and we know what Trevor Harris is capable of. So I think these Roughriders will be fine today. Yeah, of course, they would love to have those guys back, but I think they'll be okay today.
Yeah, I mean, you got Trevor Harris. He's a great stabilizer for this team. And yes, they lose two guys who have contributed tremendously for this offense. However, this is a team that takes its time down the field. They don't just go for the big shots and try to get the touchdown right away. So they take their time. They go down, and they have a decent running game. We saw what Quali Conley did last week as well. I think he's going to be integrated that much more this week, and they'll be able to manage it. And you talk about the team that they're playing this week.
Go ahead and say it. You were saying in the pregame, man. They're playing Ottawa. They're going to crush Ottawa. That's what you said. You didn't say in the pregame.
I never said that. I never said that. I said that they're going to have a hard time playing against this offense by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But Trevor Harris's team, and he's still got it.
But real quick, your mindset should never be that, we're playing a lesser team. Not at the professional level.
That's how
your mindset has to be that we're playing the toughest team in the world, and we have to approach it that way.
Football gods like when people say that because they say, oh, yeah? Let's talk about the same game parlay. The last time we worked together, I don't know if you guys remember, it was the Stamps Bombers game back in Week 8. We cashed in on our 4-leg parlay. Well, it's a 3-person crew this time around, but we are definitely going heavy on the Riders tonight. No reason we can't do it again, right? Milt going with Dell, Duncan Busby to get at least 60 yards. Enoch, you mentioned Conley. You like him to get into the end zone tonight. I'm going with Keyshawn Johnson because they got to throw the ball to someone, right? Well, let's head back to Mosaic and check in now with Rod Smith and Luke Wilson, who are in the booth with the call for this one.
All right, thank you, Laura. Yeah, getting set. Interesting matchup here, Luke, when you look at how much these teams have changed since they last met 5 weeks ago. And for the Redblacks by choice, releasing a couple of players, Geno Lewis gone, Shakur Brown caught as well. But a change at coaching, too. Defensive coordinator Will Fields was fired and replaced by the special teams coordinator, Jeff Reinbold.
Yeah, and it's a bit surprising. Like, what exactly happened? You know, I was a Fields fan, and some of the things in the media, hey, Coach Dinwiddie said, things are falling on deaf ears. I wanted things done one way. What exactly does that mean, Rod? Like, does that mean schematically? And they talked about simplifying. I look at what they do on film. They're a pretty simple defense. So I'm actually expecting a little more heat today, maybe a little tighter coverage, maybe a little blitzing. But the big one, actually, I think, is personnel. You mentioned Brown being released. All of a sudden, Shad Kuba is in that starting spot. I do wonder if that was a situation where, in practice, they saw Kuba, saw how he played, thought he was a gamer that could come in here and make a play, be a spark-type guy. So the fact that as soon as Reinbold was named the DC, this is the change they made. I think that was probably one of the things people disagreed on in the building.
And Jeff Reinbold, been around the league for a long time. He's been a head coach. He hasn't been a defensive coordinator since 2012 with the Montreal Alouettes. So a challenge there. The challenge for the Riders, not by choice, by injury. They're banged up in the secondary, the receiving core, and also A.J. Ouellette also will not play again tonight. But Quali Conley has actually looked pretty good in his stead there.
He's looked awesome. And we all see the highlights, but for me, he's a complete back. And the highlights are spectacular. special. He's running the ball well. And you can't just glaze over this stuff. Look at this. I mean, we're hurdling people backwards. He follows his pulling center. Boom. This is a special play, and again, it was all great. Again, he's dead to rights in the hole here. What a spin move, like video game style stuff. And you love to see this from your running back, but I'm telling you, offensive coordinator Mark Mueller loves this especially. Watch him here in the backfield. This is a big play in a very, very tight game. Okay, he picks up a twisting linebacker, boom, cuts him, gives Trevor Harris a split second. Now again, fortunate bounce here, but that could have been a lot worse, and this ends up explosive for Saskatchewan. He's been great in pass protection. Here again, a little more simple, but you're on the 5-yard line, again, in what was billed to be the game of the year, and he steps up on a linebacker, sticks his head in there, and I want to see how accurate that throw is. Right, it's the little things. You know, if he's unsure there or he gets pushed back into Trevor, now that throw's not as accurate and potentially a PBU. So again, as much as the toting the pill, the spinning, the jumping has been awesome, and it has, to me, he looks like a complete back that they trust a lot back there.
Yeah, the Riders, Luke, have made a lot of changes because of injury. Let's not kid ourselves, though. Still a big challenge for this Ottawa Redblacks defense. And speaking of which, two players in particular, this has to be an emotional return for A.J. Allen and C.J. Rivas. A year ago, they were with the green and white. They won a Grey Cup. And now they come back here for the first time in Mosaic. Week 10, still looking for their first victory, Laura. That may be the biggest change of all for them.
Indeed, and you know, Ottawa's offense has had its challenges this season, scoring the second fewest points per game, none in the second half last week against Montreal, but a bright spot has been the play of Aiden Eberhardt, who leads the Redblacks in receiving yards, and he's standing by with Britt.
Aiden, this group remaining positive despite the record. How close do you feel like this team is to playing full complementary football?
Yeah, we're super close. If you look at us in practice, everyone's, jumping around. Energy is high. It's been really awesome to see, despite being, 0-7. Energy just keeps building, and I think that's something that's needed at practice, and we just got to put it all together during a game. So I think we're getting really close, and we're gonna get through that wall,
You said it this week, every play at Mosaic Stadium is a big play. Talk to me about the excitement of playing Saskatchewan at home.
Yeah, it's awesome. They've got a great stadium. They've got a great fan base. Everyone shows up. The fan base loves to talk some trash. Great atmosphere, great environment. You couldn't ask for much more. So it's always a great one playing here.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Either or. Which of these two teams is the best in the CFL?
I gotta go with the Elks.
Oh, you know he will! Touchdown Rankin, unstoppable!
The Montreal Alouettes are the team.
Touchdown Montreal! Philpott fabulous again!
Davis Alexander, DA, baby, and he knocks.
Hey, somebody said they got gloves back there, man. Let's get the gloves.
I mean, it went so well the first time. We're going to do it again. Either or, round 2, Moamba. Stiegel, red, blue, let's go. And Milt brought the props this time. I'm still in the middle.
Though.
I feel like I don't want to be in the middle.
Hockey, it doesn't matter. Hockey sucks. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter.
So it is the Montreal Alouettes, the Edmonton Elks kicking off the doubleheader tomorrow to wrap up the week. So what better either or subject for us to talk about? Let's start things off with either or. Enoch, we'll start with you. Either or, the Montreal Alouettes or the Edmonton Elks will have the more explosive plays.
I like the Edmonton Elks on this one. I like Edmonton Elks because of all the weapons they have offensively. Yes, I know what Tyson Philpott is doing and Travis Tice's emergence as well with that offense, but this is Justin Rankin. You can play great defense, and he can make you pay regardless. And when you look at what Cody Fajardo can do as well, you saw what he did a couple weeks ago, 500-plus yards.
I agree with you on this one. I know they have, you talked about Snead, you talked about Philpott, you have Travis, but I like what the Elks are doing. I like what they're doing, not only with Luther and Mack and Rankin, but also the Leaqualizer. You throw the Leaqualizer in there,
He's your guy.
There are some big plays there, baby, so I'm with you on that.
You know
like
who leads the CFL in big plays, though, right? You guys know that, right?
I know.
Montreal.
We know. Montreal, yeah.
Let's go to the other side of the ball now. Which defense, Milt, will have a bigger impact in tomorrow's game?
You know what? I'm going to surprise some folks, and I know they have some injuries, but I'm going to go with Montreal. I'm going to say that because they have the mad scientists. that defensive coordinator, Northorpe, who's been with the league, involved with the league since 2002. Yes, he's missing 4 starters, but he knows how to scheme up a defense that can stop any offense. So I'm going to go with those Montreal Alouettes, Enoch.
I mean, they got a good defense, but they're missing quite a few guys.
4 guys.
So for me, I'm going to stick with the Edmonton Elks. This is probably the best defense in the CFL right now. 23 turnovers on defense, and I think they're only getting started. They're only getting more and more comfortable with one another, and tomorrow they're going to show exactly why.
Okay, these teams rank 1 and 2 in points allowed per game. Last but not least, we're at the 3-minute warning. Game's on the line. Which offense do you trust more to get the job done? Enoch, we're going to start with you.
I like Davis Alexander in that offense. I know.
Okay, I hear you.
Switch inside. This guy's got ice in his veins. It's hard to go against him when the game is on the line, and the weapons, the multitude of weapons that he has around him. And again, I mentioned earlier how Travis Tice has come onto the scene. I think he's going to be an integral piece for this offense when they get to in 2 minutes.
I'm about to hit you with the knockout punch.
Give it to me.
Did you see what happened when the last time these two teams played? Did you see what the Elks did in the 4th quarter in overtime?
What happened?
They knocked them out, baby. They knocked them out. That's what they're going to do.
It's a nice, calm environment we work at here on TSN. Of course, the Kitty Cat Bowl will be the second game of the doubleheader tomorrow. When we come back, we'll turn our attention back to tonight's game. Hear from one of the leaders of the Saskatchewan defense, James Botters. The Riders defense coming off a strong showing last week in Edmonton. It's ready to pick up right where it left off tonight. Here's Britt now alongside James Botters.
No doubt this team has been bitten by the injury bug, but it's nothing new in pro football. But how do you make sure this group is still effective out there with some new faces in the lineup?
Well, we try to, make our scheme universal. Everybody has to understand everything, and, we got to play for our brothers. Unfortunate thing about the game of football is sometimes, guys aren't able to play, and we got to be able to play with discipline, play with execution, and probably at an even higher, more intense level in situations like this.
5 sacks on the season so far in 7 games. The record for yourself is 6 on a year. We're only in week 10. How do you explain this success?
Unfortunately, I can't say I haven't had 5 at this point in the season at some point in my career, but it's like I said, continue to be disciplined, continue to execute, and do everything we can to win the game. I mean, if the way I play helps that, then that's the best case scenario.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, it was almost a 2-person panel.
Look at that. Look at that.
Is that Neo from The Matrix? I don't want a part of any of that. All right. You guys crack me up.
You missed them all, man. You missed them all.
I tried to hit you the first time. The last 2 I missed on purpose. I was trying to hit you with that first one.
Let's do our game picks. We're going to try and get things back on the rails. Milk, based on what you've said in the pregame, I'm pretty sure I know who you're picking with tonight.
You know what? I would love for Ottawa to win. It's not a good look with a 9-league team and one team is really, really struggling. But they're not going to win tonight. It's not going to happen tonight. Not in Regina. Saskatchewan will win this one. It won't be a blowout, but I think Saskatchewan will win it pretty easily.
Too many changes within the organization in 1 week for me. It's going to be tough for them to overcome that against a good team like the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now, look, there's a lot of issues not issues, but they're missing quite a few players. So that's the silver lining for them. But like you said, it's an uphill battle.
Will Canada's pick make it 3 for 3? It's me first, yeah.
Canada's pick is probably all the Saskatchewan still right there.
This is when everyone takes the picture of it on the screen and Ottawa wins and they're like, they don't have any idea what they're talking about.
It is what it is. Who was wrong?
The stats are just too lopsided. Ottawa will get its first win, but I don't think it'll be tonight. Bull Mania, things are heating up in Regina.
AJ.
Oh boy, we're just moments away now from the second and final meeting of the season between those he didn't stand a chance.
I thought he had a...
It's go time.
Week 10 continues with the Redblacks and Roughriders from Regina, and it's been almost a full calendar year since Ottawa last won a game, 0-7 to start the season. And tonight it looks to end the drought against a short-handed Saskatchewan team that's missing some key pieces on both sides of the ball. Friday night football action here on TSN. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laura Dyken, joined alongside Enoch Mwamba as well as Milt Stiegel. So yeah, it's been an eventful week for both of these teams for two very different reasons. For the Redblacks, they said goodbye to their defensive coordinator Will Fields as well as receiver Gino Lewis. And I just mentioned for the Roughriders, the list of the walking wounded is growing and growing. Enoch, your key matchup for tonight's game.
I'm looking at the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I truly believe, yes, there's a lot of missing pieces for this team, but offensively, I think they'll take care of business. You got Trevor Harris, who's a constant on that side, and you got Duncan Bugsby, who's exploding this season and is kind of coming up to the scene, and you got also Johnson. There's a few pieces there, and I can't forget about Conley. I'm looking at the defense right now. You're missing Milligan. You're missing Campbell, Tavon Campbell. That's going to be challenging for them. And I'm looking at Nelson Lacombo, the corner right now. Jake Mayer, as much as we talk about the Ottawa Redblacks, he gets yards. He had 300, just over 300 yards last time he played. And so they have to defend properly as well. And I'm looking at the corner right now, Nelson Lacombo. He's got to step up.
I'm looking at two matchups. Number one being, you talked about Will Fields, the defense coordinator being gone. New guy steps in, Jeff Reinebold. Jeff Reinebold's defense against Mark Mueller. We know Mark Mueller has a pretty great offensive mind, and if I'm Jeff Reinebold, if I know Jeff Reinebold, he's going to try to put some pressure on him, so I'm looking at that. But also I'm looking at the Ottawa Redblacks offense versus the red zone. The red zone has been kicking Ottawa's defense, offensive butt. So I'm going to look and see what happens, what plays Ryan Dinwiddie calls when he gets down there. Is he going to be conservative? Is he going to go for it? So those are the two matchups that I'm looking at.
All about finishing drives for the Ottawa Redblacks. And, you know, with Saskatchewan, the defense gets a lot of the attention. Well, this team has scored at least 27 points in every single game this season. So it'll be interesting to see if Ottawa can keep up at that pace and what that offense can do shorthanded here tonight. All right, well, let's head to Regina now. After the break, it is almost time for kickoff. Rod Smith and Luke Wilson will have the call. It's Friday Night Football, and it is here on TSN.
It's go time.
Victor Lucas of Tisdale, Saskatchewan, this is your chance to win big thanks to Save On Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If two are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could win $1 million. Not used to having all this time. Could take my time reading this. Good luck to you, Victor. Rod and Luke, take it away.
All right, Laura, on a beautiful summer Friday night in southern Saskatchewan, and the Roughriders are back home looking to tie Edmonton for top spot in the West, while the Ottawa Redblacks just looking for their first win of the season again here in Week 10. Now, Saskatchewan is a team that's pretty banged up, Luke Wilson. I mean, you look at the receiving core alone, no Kean Schaefer-Baker, no Sam Emelis. They're on the 6th game, and you look at the one who's still left in the big three, Keyshawn Johnson, even greater emphasis on him tonight.
Yeah, the onus is going to fall on him to make a lot of plays, because the way this offense operates, it's Trevor Harris's rhythm, it's timing. He's also throwing to spots a lot. So if your receivers aren't exactly where you think they're supposed to be and you don't have that chemistry, the offense is going to struggle at times. But on the flip side, if we go to this defense in the new change, I'm looking at A.J. Allen, because if Jeff Reinebold wants to know, a little insight of how things are working, he started for Saskatchewan last year. So with the defensive coordinator change Ottawa's made, I would definitely lean on that guy.
Ryan Dinwiddie made some changes since losing to Montreal last week, firing defensive coordinator Will Fields and releasing receiver Gino Lewis as well. Corey Mace, who was once Dinwiddie's defensive coordinator in Toronto, now leads the defending Grey Cup champions off to another strong start at 5-2. These two teams met earlier this season 5 weeks ago in Ottawa. Saskatchewan won that one 27-22, and the Riders won the toss. They have deferred, and so Ottawa will take the ball first. Alex Hale to kick off for the 5-2 Saskatchewan Roughriders. Friday night football underway here at Mosaic in Regina. And on the return, Khalil Pimpleton being chased down. Jonathan Edouard, and a great special teams tackle in open space, pushes him back inside the Ottawa 15.
I'll tell you, Rod, when you make a play like that in this building, you just feel the joint of energy come through Mosaic. That is not the start you want. I know it's a small play, it's just a kickoff. But Jake Maier's got a long field here to drive now. He's been looking great, so I'm excited to see how they can operate, but he's got a tough task going against this defense.
And returning to Regina, he was with the Roughriders last year. Got a Grey Cup ring as a backup to Trevor Harris. Facing his old team now for the second time since moving off to Ottawa. And running the football right away, it is going nowhere. Jameer Thurman is right in there, and Greg Bell. And Bell not averaging much heading into this game, nothing there.
And this has been a problem for Ottawa. Their run game has been very, very tough. And you've got Thurman, he's a free hitter. This is your middle linebacker going right through the hole. I'm already starting to get fired up. When you call run play, you expect to have a man blocking Jameer Thurman. I feel for Coach Dinwiddie when things like that occur.
Bell, who's averaging under 4 yards a carry, loses 3 there. So a second and long. Just outside their 10 for Mayer, and over the middle and caught, and a big one too for a first down. Aiden Eberhard, who's had some great games here as a member of the BC Lions, with a big catch to buy them some space.
Yeah, and this guy's been very, very consistent for them. You're going to see him right here. It's just, I call this a looky route. It's not really a true slant. So you come up here, you see the blitz, you kind of follow the wind with your head. The ball gets put on your chest, but he's a great contested catch guy. As far as total contested catches, he's actually leading the CFL right now, and Jake Maier really trusts him to kind of make those plays.
Gets it up to the Ottawa 28. Opening possession on Friday Night Football. Back to the ground. Try it again. Well, they are able to grind out a few yards there across the 30 for Greg Bell. As we take a look at that Ottawa offense.
Yeah, up front, they've struggled this unit, but right now I'm looking at Samuel Carson. It's his first ever start. Played 2 years at University of Calgary, 2 years at University of Louisiana Monroe. He's got his hands full today. We'll see how he does. And we just talked about Aiden Eberhard. He's a consistent producer for this offense. He's great with contested catches and someone they can rely on in tough situations.
Their leading receiver coming in at 538 yards. Number 7, the ex-Lion, Eberhard. Second down and 7. Mayer with time. It is caught, but it's short of a first down. Up around the 35 for Keelan White in his second year with the Redblacks, but still a 3rd and 2, and the punting unit will come on.
I'll tell you, Rod, early in this game, I thought potentially with the weaker O-line in Ottawa that Saskatchewan and Josh Bell would sit back and just rush for, and boy, was I wrong. Because almost every play there, they were bringing an extra guy, bringing heat. So clearly, Josh Bell, defensive coordinator for the Riders, sending a message that they're coming and playing downhill and firing guys all game.
So it is Noah Getman to punt. One returner back for the Riders. That's Daniel Weeb, who took over after the injuries to Matthew Sexton and James Letcher. And Weeb, well, he goes to his right. And he cuts it up, and he's still got something going here. Nice return, Daniel Weeb, as he's finally pushed out of bounds close to midfield. His best return in his young CFL career.
Rod, I'm going to reiterate it again. This guy is going to play with rhythm and tempo today, and I'm excited to watch it.
And this guy, Trevor Harris, about to come on for the first possession, and the Riders in a 0-0 drive. Trevor Harris, 40 years old, and again, just not playing like it. And this is part of his 243-yard passing performance 5 weeks ago in Ottawa.
Yeah, and I will say this. Obviously, a lot of people are not expecting much from Ottawa. But you look at these numbers. I called this game, Rod. it was one of those things where they did manage to get him out of rhythm, out of tempo at times. So you see that completion percentage at 72.7%. He is phenomenal at playing in rhythm and going through his progression. They need to find a way to get him uncomfortable today.
So far, on pace for his best statistical season ever in his CFL career, and completing that one and getting him involved right away. That's Dylan Jete, the rookie, his first CFL start, and he's got a big first down for the Riders.
Just a little tunnel screen here, and this is the physicality that they bring at the wide receiver position. So again, no reads, nothing like that. We're just kind of getting the defense to go horizontal, and you see Brammer coming out there. You see Keyshawn Johnson's already out there blocking. This is a physical team across the board, not just at the offensive line position, but also at receiver.
Looking for Jete. In his first year out of Lévis, Quebec, and injuries to Kean Schaefer-Baker, Sam Emilus, and here's another guy standing in nicely. Paulie Conley spins again on the hit. Saw some of that in Edmonton last week. He went right off Deontay Ruffin and picks up another first down.
What a dream start here for Saskatchewan, and Conley now making people miss. It looked like it could have been a TFL for a sec. He scoots out of this thing. But Rod, I want to just, this guy's an electric runner. I love it. But I was worried this might be a letdown spot. You play Edmonton back-to-back weeks. Now you're playing a team that hasn't won a game, and certainly not a letdown right now.
Saskatchewan moving quickly on 2 plays to the Ottawa 29. 0-0. Riders in scoring range, and Harris looking. End zone shot, and just a bit too far. Deshaun Mims, another one of the newer receivers for the Riders, just can't get to it. Second down coming up.
This offensive line here, I love it. They're very physical. Jacob Brammer, to me, is 5th in the league right now, lowest pressure rate. He's a very, very aggressive offensive lineman, especially in the run game. And then we talk a lot about Keyshawn Johnson, rightfully so, with the injuries. But for me, Del Duncan Busby today has got to be that safety valve. I keep saying this, Trevor likes to play in rhythm. If they take away Keyshawn, Dell has got to be in the right place at the right time.
He had a touchdown 2 weeks ago against Edmonton. His other one came against the Redblacks in Ottawa. Duncan Busby, we got movement there. Jelani Stafford, the hard count by Trevor Harris, and flags all over the place. And some finger pointing as well as to was there movement by the Riders or just an offside for Ottawa.
They came back to a single.
We got procedure against Saskatchewan, number 63. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still going to be second down.
So the center, Logan Furland, flagged there, 5 yards back for the Riders.
Well, watch this here. I thought, yeah, it's legitimate. They're on it there. It's subtle movement. That'll draw them off. Nice start by the official crew.
Pushes him back to a 2nd and 15 at the Ottawa 34 for Trevor Harris. Four-man rush completes that pass. Another one for Dylan Jete. Getting him involved early. Not quite enough for a first down, but he gets down close to the 20. And a 3rd and 2 coming up. And we got some size coming out, including the quarterback, Tommy Stevens.
Rod, I get it. You know, we've seen the numbers. We've seen the success rate. With Tommy Stevens, I like this. You're being aggressive. You're trying to set the tone.
Well, he's absolute money from 1 yard or in. This is a 3rd and 2, but play clock down to 5 seconds. Trying to run this play in a 3rd and 2 at the Ottawa 21, just outside. We got movement, and that'll negate that chance. So a player jumps for the Riders, and that'll push him back.
Saskatchewan, number 99. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay 3rd down.
That's Caleb Sanders in there on that 3rd down and short, so they'll have to bring on Alex Hale and look for the first points of this game.
Ron, I have a feeling they were not going to go for that. I think that, you know, it's short enough field goal. You take the free 5. I really like it. Try and do the hard count, but you threw a defensive guy in, which is normal on those jumbos, and apparently he doesn't realize when you go in the huddle and say, hey, there's no play here. Don't jump offside. That means there's no actual play. That's kind of funny. Sure, he'll get a little razz for that.
That was the instruction. You don't need to move. And here's Alex Hale, 12 of 17, longest of 48. This one much shorter than that. It'll be a 34-yard try. for the native of Gosford, Australia, put down by another Aussie, and Oscar Chapman, the punter and holder, and up and through it goes for Hale. So the Roughriders took the ball and quickly got down close enough in scoring range. Jake Mayer back at Mosaic for being part of a Grey Cup champion 1 year ago. Remembering Jake Mayer was with the Riders last year. Before that, though, with the Calgary Stampeders, enjoyed a lot of success, Luke, against the Roughriders.
You said it. I saw this, most wins versus any opponent for him, and I thought earlier in the year he played well against this defense. Now his work is cut out for him today. It would really help if they could get even a little bit of help in the run game, but Jake has played better football every single week, and I expect him to continue that trend today.
They can move the ball. We saw that even against Montreal last week, but when they get down into the score zone, it's a problem. That's a problem there. It goes off Khalil Pimpleton, and the Riders have it. Picked up by Antoine Brooks after the fumble, and what else can go wrong for Ottawa? Saskatchewan will take over just outside the Redblacks 20.
This is bad ball for Ottawa here. So you're going to see a motion right across here, and the timing of the snap, whether it was the motion, we hit the motion man, it's Pimpleton, with the snap. And again, you go back here, and I think to myself, and I know I'm being critical, Rod, but when you're playing in Saskatchewan against the defending Grey Cup champs, in the first drive of the game, you don't block the middle linebacker on an inside zone play. In your second offensive drive, you snap the ball off a motioning receiver. You cannot expect to win football games.
So the Riders take over at the Ottawa 24, in business again right away. Harris intercepted. Redblacks get it back. Oh, do they ever need that? Just to swing the momentum here, it's Lucas Cormier getting the start at weak side linebacker, picking off Trevor Harris, who is intercepted for only the 7th time this season, but Ottawa football again.
This is a strange one here. So here is Cormier. You're going to see him right here, and he just goes with the motion, and Trevor seemingly doesn't see him. I think maybe he thought he would continue to push to the flat, and they were going to be able to squeeze a seam in there. But I just made a comment about not winning football games. Plays like that will help you win football games.
And the second interception of the season for Cormier. He was in his 3rd year at Mount Allison, so right back to Mayer now. Off to the left, and that is caught, and turning it up. That's Giovanni Robinson in his 2nd game with the Redblacks, coming over from Hamilton.
Yeah, and you look at the Saskatchewan defensive line, unbelievable unit. But for me, Mike Rose, this guy is a game wrecker. In the run game, he dominates. He eats up double teams to allow Jameer Thurman to scrape. Right now, he's 9th in tackling efficiency. He's an excellent tackler. He plays well. He understands it. And then on the back end, Marcus Sales is 6th in the league in lowest completion percentage allowed. I love the way he plays. He's a very smart player, and he will take chances.
Here we go in the 2nd down play, and nearly picked off there, intended for Cade McDonald. It's Jonathan Edouard, who's filling in for the injured Roland Milligan at boundary half, and that falls incomplete, and again Ottawa has to punt.
It certainly feels energy-wise that Saskatchewan has scored at this point. So as bad as it's been offensively to start this thing, the fact that it's only 3-0 is a kind of a blessing, I think, for Ottawa.
Well, they traded turnovers, of course. The ball hitting Pimpleton, and Saskatchewan recovered, and then right away Harris throwing an interception. So Riders to get the ball back at the 30. Oh, that's dropped momentarily by Weeb, with a great return his first time out. That one does get up to the 40. So Saskatchewan takes over, but yeah, this kind of start for both teams. Near disaster there. It was for the Redblacks. But then Trevor Harris picked up by Cormier. 3-0. Saskatchewan has the ball in the lead. Jeff Reinbold, well, you can't see him right now, just in behind. Reinbold taking over as the defensive coordinator this week, Luke. Been a coach in the CFL many, many years. Hasn't been a DC since 2012 with Montreal.
Yeah, and they've had a tough start on defense this year, you know, and you look at this D-line right now, they need to generate pressure. They got 8 total sacks this year. They're just dead last. I look at C.J. Revis at the Sam linebacker position. I would send him a lot. He's a great pressure guy. And on the back end, Chad Kuba's in his first start, coming in for Shakur Brown. See if they target him or how he does today. Be an interesting matchup.
Quick handoff to Quali Conley, who spins that time, but he cannot get away from the grasp of DeMario Houston. So a loss of a couple of yards for the Riders and a second and long ahead.
Nice play by the boundary corner here. Coming in, he's right on the edge. There he is. When your boundary corner is defeating an extra lineman, gets flat there, makes a play on a good running back. That's some bonus work right there, Ron. When your boundary cornerbacks defeating offensive linemen on the line of scrimmage, making a play, you're pretty happy about that.
That's the rookie Darius Bell who was out there on Houston, and Houston got by him. So second and long, Harris. Off to the right, caught underneath, turning it up. Good yardage and a first down. That's Deshaun Mims. Another one of the young Rider receivers getting a big chance now with the injuries to Schaefer Baker and Emilus.
Rod, this is the stuff that I think drives you a little nuts if you're a Redblacks fan. You make a great play on first down. You got him in second and long, and it's a pitch and a catch that turns into an explosive play. And they're on the other side of the field. You like to see it then make it a little more difficult than that.
Seeing Kean Schaefer Baker looking on. The knee injury suffered last week in Edmonton on the 6th game. So from the 49, Harris. And no, in and out of the hands of the other member of the big 3 for Saskatchewan. Don't see that often. Keyshawn Johnson just couldn't hang on. And by the way, Trevor Harris on that previous play, we had said before the game he was getting close to 40,000. There you go, Luke. And elite company he's keeping, but gets over 40,003 and counting for Trevor Harris.
Pretty special, and obviously, you know, you'd assume that he's going to keep climbing that ladder. Some pretty special names there.
The crazy thing is, barely halfway to Anthony Calvillo. That's just insane. Look at those numbers, near 80,000 for Calvillo. Harris. And he just checks it down. He gets it off to Conley, who works his way down inside the 45. Not close enough for a first down. And will we be seeing Alex Hale coming on again for another field goal try?
Jeff Reinbold mixing it up a little bit. Rush 3 there, drop 9. They're able to kind of condense the pocket with 3. Tough to throw the ball when you got 9 people dropping into zone coverage.
Instead, it's just Oscar Chapman, as they have 2 players onside lining up in behind Chapman to punt it away, and whistle blows. See what the Riders trying to set something up, deciding not to try a field goal in what would have been about a 50-yard try. But yes, 2 players lining up onside. Jonathan Edward, one of those, in behind Chapman. Gets rid of it, looking for field position here. Khalil Pimpleton, and they have it covered quite nicely. As again, the Redblacks will have to start deep in their zone. Friday night, Mosaic Stadium. A beautiful August night. We'll be back. Well, he's already recovered a fumble in this game. A big part of that Rider defense that won the Grey Cup a year ago. Antoine Brooks with more. Let's head down and say hello to Britt Dorn.
Thanks so much, Rod. And Luke, I think you're going to appreciate this one because you're a Super Bowl champion yourself. I had to ask Brooks about the fact that he's a Super Bowl champion and now a Grey Cup champion. And he said, well, winning is addicting. And he did compare and contrast the two. He said, I equally had as much fun celebrating both of them. However, he did say he feels like he was more of a key piece in that Grey Cup run compared to the Super Bowl because he said, I was really a part of the run when it came to this Grey Cup championship team. And he said he felt so much joy for the province winning that Grey Cup. Now, the one thing he did compare, he said the Grey Cup parade was much colder than the Super Bowl parade and a little bit longer. I don't know what yours was like, Luke.
Believe it or not, in Seattle, it was freezing.
Was it?
I do remember being extremely cold, but I don't think quite Saskatchewan style of cold.
Well, you got that Super Bowl 48 with the Seahawks 3 years earlier. Brooks with the Green Bay Packers and got a Super Bowl ring, and then running that time and a little bit better too for Greg Bell on that first down play to set up a second and shorter, a few yards away now for Ottawa.
It was a pretty cool run play here. McHugh on the center pull, and you see a little step there. It's a little counter action. They do a double pull. That's what they call gap scheme runs, Rod. It's not the zone, which a lot of teams are traditionally using. But gap scheme is a lot of fun because the offensive linemen are called to be very athletic.
And Sean McEwen, another one of those Redblacks players who was with the Riders last year, but had a knee injury in training camp and wasn't able to play. Mayer to throw to the right, and no! Bell looked like he just wanted to catch it and turn it up and take off in first down yardage, but he can't hang on, and now they have to punt again.
It's a big hit. I mean, I wanted you to hear that at home. That's away from where we're calling this game, and it felt like it happened right in front of me. You could hear that thing.
Nelson Lacombo getting the start at field corner for Tavon Campbell. Lacombo had been on the inside. It's blocked. Blocked. Flags out. Saskatchewan football and a parade heading towards the end zone. And it signaled a touchdown for the Roughriders. David Benda on special teams has the football. As the Riders got in on Noah Getman, and you wonder, will that flag just be no yard since it went across the line of scrimmage? It's the referee, Ben Major.
We have unnecessary roughness against the long snapper, Saskatchewan number 95. This is a 15-yard penalty applied from the point of last scrimmage, and it's an automatic first down for Ottawa.
So that's a bit of a change and turn of events here. Instead of a Rider touchdown, the unnecessary roughness on the long snapper, Peter Adji.
So here's your long snapper. They come right downhill. It's absolutely drilled.
Just let me explain. The umpire felt.
So Corey Mace, pretty heated.
I would be too.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Rod. I get protecting, but once he sets,
Adji snapped the ball and it set up the block. He was in the process of blocking when he got pushed back.
I wonder if you can challenge this call. This is a. So you have to protect the center. So part of what happens here is, well, the long snapper's head is down. He needs to be protected. But once the head is lifted.
That was the spirit of the rule.
Yes.
Protect them when the head is down and they can't see.
This is a major play, a major call. I understand why Corey Mace is upset here.
Well, it was Devin Adams that got flagged for it, charging over. But as said, Peter Adji had snapped the ball and had his head up, trying to engage in the block.
Yeah, I'm done. I love this stuff. I love it. I guess it's close on that look. You know, we kind of had the punter there. I will warn you, Rod. I always err on the side against specialists.
In the meantime, there is a Redblacks player who's down. It is the long snapper, Peter Adji, by the way, who is still down, getting attention from the medical staff of the Redblacks, and a cart has come out as well. And Adams, the one who was flagged for it, as we've shown you that replay of Adji, the long snapper, getting rid of the football. There was so much pressure coming in, too. It was Nick Weed, by the way, who blocked the punt, and later David Benda, who had picked it up and got an escort into the, just barely to break the plane, and they signaled it a touchdown for Saskatchewan. And the explanation continues of the conversation, Ben Major and Rider head coach Corey Mace.
Where we're looking is right here. You can kind of see this there. That is Adams. You can't line up over the center. That's why he's lined up over the guard. This is the look where I see it, and I say the center clearly snapped the ball. took a few steps back, and his head was raised.
So Adji is up. In his 5th year out of Queens, started his career with Edmonton, and been with Ottawa for a few years now, but slowly, with an escort, heading off towards the Ottawa dressing room.
Rod, this is a much bigger loss than a lot of people think, especially with tight roster numbers, limited time on the field, and this is in every league that I've ever been a part of. You don't usually get a lot of time as your backup long snapper. Believe it or not, Rod, I was our backup long snapper 1 year in Seattle, and I was utterly mortified if I ever had to go in. I didn't have that much time to practice it. We'll see who it is later in the game, but that could.
And was that backup on punts and on placements too, field goals?
For me, it was just field goals and
field goals. So, where, I mean, the timing, everything is so critical.
Yes.
So as it stands, instead of having to punt it away, and what looked like another disaster for Ottawa, they still have the football on the 15-yard penalty against Evan Adams. They have it up to their 34. They're trailing 3-0. We're getting late in the first quarter, 2 minutes to go. Faking the handoff, throwing it off to the right to Khalil Pimpleton, who tries to do something in space, and quickly going across to shut him down is the middle linebacker, Jameer Thurman, up near the 40.
Rod, I know it's not the most exciting play, but I'm telling you, that is the perfect first down play for Ottawa. So all it is a wide receiver screen of Pimpleton, who's an electric ball carrier. It's an extension of their run game. They're just trying to get into second and manageable to keep everything wide open for Ryan Dinwiddie and Jake Mayer. All the underneath stuff is there. If they want to take a shot, they can. They would love to have that on every first down.
Fans here at Mosaic still incensed over that penalty call before. 2nd and 5. Mayer to his left. It's caught. It's a first down. It's Pimpleton again. Up near the 50. Working Khalil Pimpleton into that offense. One of the combined yardage leaders in the CFL, of course, for everything he does in the return game as well.
Every time Pimpleton touches the football on offense, you just feel like he's a split second away from breaking one and going the distance. Even there, just a pretty casual first down, but almost spins out of the first one. He's such an electric player with the ball in his hand.
He heads off. They're up to their 49 now. This crowd's still fired up with that Redblack offense on the field. Under a minute to go until quarter time. Handing off. Greg Bell, left side, picks up a few. Down to about the 52 of Ottawa, and a 2nd and long coming up.
Again, a struggling run game.
By the way, Anthony Gosselin, their fullback, is their backup long snapper. If you're wondering, assuming Adji cannot come back right away in this game, if they're faced with the need for a long snapper on specials, which they might be a play from now on a 2nd and 8. Late in the first quarter. 4-man rush. Mayer with time. Off to the right. It's caught. It's near a first down in the Rider 50 for Keelan White. And a big first down it is for Ottawa with a 2nd to go until quarter time.
Really nice adjustment here by White. You see him right here, and he's not a crazy route or anything, but I want you to watch at the top of this route. Just kind of settles in here, has to work back, and then uses momentum to eat the hit. Get a first down. Nice job.
Well, this is the most the Redblacks offense has had it going in this game. In Rider territory. Play action fake and completed 2 and backtracking, but turning it up for another first down as the Redblacks offense has something going now to head into the 2nd quarter. Pimpleton again. And to think of where Ottawa could be in this game after the turnover, that long snap hitting Pimpleton, and then the roughing call against the Riders that negated a touchdown. We got a game here, 15 minutes in. Ottawa football. Saskatchewan leads it 3-0 after 1. Friday Night Football mosaic, and hey, you know the old saying, it could be worse. Things have been bad for the Redblacks, Luke, this season. It certainly could have been worse in that first quarter for Ottawa.
Absolutely, and the big one was the interception against Trevor Harris. Cormier made a nice job there kind of settling into it, because I do think that if this game gets to the point where it's a two-possession game in Saskatchewan's favor, I don't think you can hold up, Ottawa can, if they're forced to push the ball down the field. So I worry about that. That was a massive play. And, you know, Jake Mayer can continue this drive here. We might have a nice tight ball game in the second quarter.
What a momentum swing. It looked like on special teams the Riders would have a touchdown on a block punt, but that roughing penalty that it seems fans here are still buzzing about it has turned things around. New life for Ottawa.
Certainly was a fortunate call, but Ottawa's taking advantage at the moment.
So another catch for Khalil Pimpleton has given them a first down. He's got 3 catches for 28 yards now. In the Riders zone, Aiden Eberhardt has another catch on the night and wrestled down there by Marcus Sales, but about the 32 of Saskatchewan.
Again, Rod, I know it's boring, but this is the perfect first down play for them because they struggle to run the ball. It's a full RPO, run-pass option. You have 2 pullers, so it keeps everybody tight. You have to respect the run, even though they struggle at it. And you get your 6 yards of first down, keeps the playbook open. It allows Jake to throw the ball quickly on his first hitch. I would look for them to consistently try and get that done on first down.
And this is the 10th play of this drive. Ottawa football running again this time. It's the first carry for Dan Adeboboye. Works it down to the 25, and that's another first down for the Redblacks.
Yeah, nice job here. Nice cutback. Gosselin, the fullback tight end. Here he is right here. Going to watch him. He's going to pull around here, kind of lead up. Little fullback action. Here he goes. Counter step in the backfield. We lead up on Thurman, eat him up. And we got ourselves a first down. How about them Redblacks?
Yeah, and a great look at the Gosselin block and the work up front for Ottawa to open up that hole for Daniel Adeboboye. Down to the 26 of Saskatchewan on a toss. Adeboboye, but no, they have that red nicely, pushing him back. Probably a loss of a yard as Jameer Thurman gets in the act again.
When we watch Thurman here, he does this on film all the time. He just understands the defense, how it works, what it's supposed to do. This guy comes flying. Okay, he defeats a block, a pulling backer on this play. It was really quite nice. Here he is right here. You're just going to watch him. So they go down, he triggers. There's his key. He knows an O-lineman's coming to get him. Sheds it, makes a nice job, finishes the play, second and long.
2nd and 12, specifically after that loss of 2. Throwing inside the 5, Eberhardt. Aiden Eberhardt, and no signal for the touchdown. He got close. And did the ball come out? Still a discussion there. Is it in Rider hands after Eberhardt got it? Well, he hands it off. It'll be a 1st and goal coming up here for the Ottawa Redblacks.
This is a too-high beater. I think he hit the ground. Let's see here. So it's clearly possession. He's got a catch. Yeah, I think he's safe. I think the hip's down, Rod.
And yeah, just down before the ball came out, Luke, before he broke the plane. So short yardage. Bryson Barnes, a short yardage quarterback. Keep it to the right. Touchdown, Ottawa. And what a change in momentum in this game. All after that roughing call when they were trying to kick it away deep in their zone. They got a reprieve with the penalty, and they drove all the way down the field in something they've acknowledged they need to do more. You get in the score zone, you need a touchdown.
Absolutely, Rod, and you mentioned the word reprieve. I think if you're a Redblacks fan, you got pushed back, or he kind of got bowed out, Barnes did, but found a way in. They have struggled mightily inside the 5-yard line. So for them to come out here and score on the first attempt, I think there's a lot of Ottawa fans right now that took a big sigh of relief on that.
Boy, this game took a real turn, didn't it? Lewis Ward on for the injured Brett Lother, his 2nd game back with Ottawa. He misses that one, and Johnny Johnson just picks it up and runs it out of the end zone anyway. So they got the touchdown, but they do not get the extra point. So the Redblacks have the lead thanks to that after the big play to Eberhardt, and Barnes takes it in. for his 4th rushing TD. This is where things really turn for Ottawa. Noah Getman trying to punt it away, blocked, but they called the penalty against Saskatchewan, and the Redblacks drive continued.
Yeah, I thought that was questionable, but for me, when I watch this play that Eberhardt caught 2nd and long, it's really a special route. He runs, it's a Tampa 2 coverage, he dives into Thurman and then cuts up, and that leads this on 2nd and long. Ottawa was 9th converting 2nd and long coming into this game. That was a big one right there.
And so the Riders now trail 6-3. The extra point attempt was wide by Lewis Ward. Johnny Johnson has it. He had a big kick return last week in Edmonton of 87 yards. That one, he gets hit hard as he gets up across the Saskatchewan 30. So finally, it seems like an eternity. King Amber's in on that special teams tackle. Seems like an eternity since Trevor Harris and the Rider offense has been on the field after that long drive. 13 plays, 97 yards in nearly 7 minutes, Luke.
And it's been a strange start for the Riders on offense. You got to tip your cap to Jeff Reinbold, you know, new DC coming in here, confusing the Saskatchewan offense a little bit.
Rider football, trailing by 3 from their 31. Harris to the right, it is caught. Turning it right up again, Keyshawn Johnson. It looks like he has the first down. We'd like to welcome our viewers on TSN4 watching Canada in the semifinals of the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Win that one. Rod Smith, Luke Wilson, Britt Dort at Mosaic Stadium in Friday Night Football, where the Ottawa Redblacks, still looking for their first win, have taken the lead over the Roughriders early in this game, or early in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, and we got to look now, just kind of slow this game down. If I'm Mark Mueller, the offense coordinator for the Riders, slow it down, do what they do best.
So on the first down, Quali Conley, right side. It's up to around the 45. Conley getting his 4th CFL start. Once again, filling in for the injured A.J. Ouellette.
One of the things that I love about Mark Mueller and his game planning and how he calls the game is he's extremely aggressive. And I find that he just does things in the right moment, when to kind of take a risk. I go back even the last week, late in the game against Edmonton, 2nd and long to close the game out. He called a draw play. You know, and it worked. There's explosive play. He always seems to have a trick up his sleeve. I really enjoy the way he calls football games.
Conley got 3. It's a 2nd and 7 now for Harris. What's the call here? Off to the right and a bit too far for the intended receiver, Del Duncan Busby. So with that, after that long Ottawa possession, the Redblacks about to get the ball back as Oscar Chapman has come on now to punt it away.
And you saw a little look there at Trevor Harris. This offense, and you've heard me say it, I'm going to continue to say it, it's built around rhythm and tempo. Trevor Harris has great footwork, but he expects guys to be in certain spots. He's throwing the ball sometimes where they even break, Rod. So without having Sam Emilus, without having Schaefer Baker in here, some of these other guys got to really make sure they're on target.
Chapman from his 35, Pimpleton running in on a shorter punt, takes it at the 20. Khalil Pimpleton, and turns it up and is tackled there up around the 35 for the Redblacks. So Ottawa's offense, Jake Mayer, 9 for 11 for 92 yards, including that big one down to Eberhardt. They got near the goal line and set up the short yardage touchdown. Friday Night Football. Redblacks coming in at 0-7, but they lead in the first half. This is a very dubious losing streak for the Ottawa Redblacks, and in Ottawa football history too. It's at 13 now because they lost their last 6 games last season. So 0-7 start. You go back to the Ottawa Roughriders, the record 25. That's back nearly 100 years ago now, and Ottawa kind of bookends that on this board. But who knows? Maybe tonight.
Tonight could be the night.
Still young here in Mosaic, and they're up against the defending champions. They do lead by 3, and going to work here, it's Justin Hardy. Hardy gets the catch and gets it up across the 50. So Jake Mayer has this Ottawa offense moving, especially since, as mentioned again, that penalty call that negated a punt block touchdown for the Riders.
Yeah, so you're going to get a blitz on the right side from Brooks Jr. And again, that's kind of a hot route adjustment by Hardy. He sees it happen from Brooks Jr. and he just turns his head. It doesn't need to be a fancy slant, but Jake Mayer's on top of that. He knows he's hot there. Rip with a slant there, big play.
His first catch goes for 18. First down, and on the fake, lots of time as he gets it off to Keelan White, who just stays inside long enough to pick up another first down into the Riders zone, down to about the Saskatchewan 47.
This is back to this RPO. They call it Sally in the Canadian world. They can hand the ball off, or they can just draw the defense in and throw it to the outside. So again, you're going to just watch it here. It's an inside zone show. When we roll this, boom, and Jake actually goes through one read back and then back to one. So he's reading Sales there. Sales kind of plays in the middle. They will love to live in that world, Rod. That is a great world for them on first down.
Well, they're liking the momentum they've got going right now. The Rider 47 on the ground out of Aboye. His second series in there had a couple of carries before as he pushes that inside the 45, and second down and long coming up. I tell you, Luke, we dwell on the injured receivers for Saskatchewan, but they're missing two big names in the secondary. Tavon Campbell with the forearm injury, and of course Roland Milligan as well.
Yes, and you miss those two guys, and one of the things I believe Ottawa has a ton of is talent at the wide receiver position. It is a big ordeal.
Second down and 8. Mayer steps up with time again. Tosses it. Open receiver and caught inside the 30. It is Keelan White again with his fourth catch of this game. And here come the Redblacks again.
Try to tell them it's a weak spot of Jake Mayer's game. Extending plays. They call that off schedule. Certainly wasn't there. You know, we flashed that screen up, Rod. Talk about the losing streak. They get a bounce earlier. Obviously a lot of game to play right now, but Jake Mayer looking pretty smooth at the moment.
They spot the ball at the 26 of Saskatchewan. Mayer 12 of 14 for 140. Redblacks looking for more, swinging that one out to Pimpleton, and puts his head down, but no, he is back at the 29, lost yardage on that first down play for Ottawa.
And this is where it just drives you nuts. Could we talk about this RPO? You heard me, oh, we're just trying to extend the run game. And then you come out here and Fields, the halfback, blows up the receiver trying to block. And now on a play where you should bare minimum have 3 to 4 yards, you're staring at 2nd and 14. And you need some magic from your QB here.
That's 4 yards the other way. Back to the Saskatchewan 30-yard line now. Running out of time, gets it away again, and reaching in behind is Cade McDonald, who had his first CFL touchdown against the Riders 5 weeks ago. Gets that back close to the 20, but still a 3rd and long ahead for Ottawa.
Nice catch, though. Hey, you know, makes the field goal a little closer. It's a pretty nice catch right here. Well, forgive me, I said field goal. Ryan Dinwiddie got the offense out here.
We saw this from Ryan Dinwiddie last week against Montreal, but that's when they were behind a couple of scores. They're going for it. 3rd and 4 at the Rider 20. The throw underneath. He had an open receiver, in McDonald, down around the 2, but he couldn't get enough on it, and it falls short, incomplete, turnover on downs, and instead of kicking the 3, they give up the football. The Riders still down 3 as they'll take over. Jake Mayer, gutsy call on 3rd down. Pressure coming, couldn't get enough on it. Another one of the injured Rider receivers, Sam Emelis, with an update on the injuries. Let's go back to Brett.
Yeah, tough one for this group, Rod. Last week he was listed as questionable. He ended up not playing. This week he was added to the 6th game alongside Kean Schaefer-Baker, another key piece of this offense. And they're joining A.J. Ouellette on that 6th game. For Emelis, it's a foot. For Schaefer-Baker, it's a knee. Now, also, we've seen it, and defensively tonight, you know, Roland Milligan Jr. has been out. He is potentially a season-ending injury, but Tavon Campbell as well, defense. He went down. He was placed on the 6th game, too. Now, those two guys, between Campbell and Kean Schaefer-Baker, when Corey Mace was asked about it, he said one of them potentially season-ending injury, but I won't tell you which one.
Well, Brett, I mean, either way, that just really hurts the green and white. There's Paulie Conley filling in for A.J. Ouellette and has been doing it quite well. And C.J. Rivas, who won the Grey Cup here a year ago, many years as a rider, in on the tackle.
We got Rebel right, we got 61, Monday right.
And of those injuries, left guard Eric Anderson at left guard for Saskatchewan, with Daniel Johnson not able to play. And he'd been filling in for Zach Fry. So yeah, the Riders have other injuries, and pressure is coming here as Harris gets it away, finds an open Keyshawn Johnson, gets it up, goes to the 45, and a big first down for Saskatchewan.
When you watch Trevor Harris here, you want to talk about being cool, calm, collected. It's pressure up the middle, a little crossfire, so linebackers do cross, there's a free hitter, and the snap's bad. So the snap's bad, you got a guy running right down on touch rod. He plucks it with one hand and delivers the strike. What a play.
Harris throwing again to Johnson, working his way up near midfield. So back-to-back plays, and that looks like it could be another first down for Saskatchewan. It is indeed. The sticks move again for the Riders. Harris working quickly across midfield to the Ottawa 54. Again to Johnson, and a few more yards there, working about the 47.
And Rod, I get it. You know, you're showing Mark Mueller here. Obviously, this rhythm is a lot better than what we've seen all game, but I think he's coming out saying, hey, I'm going to the guy I trust, the guy I know. Let's call some plays for Keyshawn Johnson here, and he's on it.
You'd expect him, as we talked about before the game, Luke, to be carrying more of the load with the injuries to Emelis and Schaefer-Baker. Three of the top receivers in the Canadian Football League. Johnson coming in at 5th in yardage. Tommy Stevens on in a 2nd and 2 for short yardage.
This is the 3-minute warning.
The short yardage specialist. And Farm Day here in Regina. So fans getting a little chance. What do you think? How do you like your chances in this thing?
No, I don't. I don't like them.
I just fall off right away and get it over with. I like your chances better than mine. Put it that way.
Electric veins to the metric brain. Those wires crossed halftime, so we'll be breaking down this first half between the Riders and the Redblacks. Plus, we'll have Cody Fajardo joining us, and we want to wish the missing member of our panel here tonight,
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
David. Happy 90th.
90th.
Oh, happy birthday wishes all around. From here to in Mosaic, where Saskatchewan on a 2nd and 2 have brought out their short yardage specialist, big Tommy Stevens, looking for a couple of yards. He goes to the right, gets it, and then some. Forget about going up the middle. We've seen that before. We look at our Fisher Investment stat of the game when it comes to short yardage. Who's better than Tommy Stevens? Look at his numbers. Luke in short yardage right on down to when they get near the goal line with a perfect 28 for 28.
Yeah, I'd say those are pretty good right there. You know, you can't ask for much more than that.
First in all those departments, and yeah, instead of plowing his way through, he goes to the right, gets the edge, gets it down to the 31. Harris back on now, 1st and 10. Riders on the move. Oh, broken up there. Alonzo Adai on Keyshawn Johnson, and the Redblack safety just arriving in time to break that up. But yeah, Tommy Stevens, who had 3 touchdowns short yardage a week ago in Edmonton.
Yeah, and you look at the right side of the line here. You have Hardrick, who's your normal guy. They bring in Sanders, who's a D tackle, and Adams, who's a D tackle, to play basically a wing tight end. You see Adams there. They concave that side of the line, and Stevens went rolling. A couple defensive boys getting their hands dirty on offense. You like to see it.
You bet. Against Hamilton a few weeks ago, he had a 26-yard run up the middle for a touchdown. Here's Harris throwing again to the left. Open Johnson, and out of bounds down around the 10. Keyshawn Johnson starting to catch fire here in the 2nd quarter as Saskatchewan's now knocking on the door.
And this is what Trevor wants to do. This is a corner out, and the ball gets out before the cut is made. So watch Trevor here, and at the top of your screen, you will eventually see Keyshawn, and before he even cuts, he's looking. Trevor puts the ball to a spot. He sees pre-snap. He understands the coverage. He understands what routes will win against the coverage. All of this is done, Rod, before the play, and the ball's in his hands, and it's out on time. Big play.
He's got 4 catches for 60 yards on this drive. Down to the 11 and a 1st and 10. Riders down 3. Second quarter. Late first half. Conley. A bit of a jump there, and he was wrapped up after a few yards to get it closer to the 5. And that is C.J. Rivas, the ex-Rider, in on that tackle.
Ron, now these are the moments I love right here, and I just wish I could go into the head of Mark Mueller. You're sitting at 2nd and 6. The ball's at the 7. What do you call? Is it something quick? Do you throw it? You know, you're expecting blitz. To me right here, I would have the corner out from Keyshawn and underneath a little short end.
Thomas Bertrand-Don's in at running back, as you saw Conley hobbled off. Harris throwing to the right. Oh, nearly intercepted by Kuba. And a flag is out. Kuba, in his first start for the Redblacks on the corner, Shad Kuba had a shot and a lot of daylight ahead. We'll see what the penalty is.
Kuba jumps this thing.
So no penalty.
It's an impressive job here. What they're going to try and do is basically run a route that returns back out. So we call this kind of a whip route. Kuba snuffs it out and then just drives it. So it starts in and you start to work back out. And again, just being on a different page, Trevor looks like he's throwing it expecting his receiver to sit, and his receiver starts to return to the sideline. I'm sure that frustrates the veteran Trevor Harris.
Well, that short kick by Hale is 2 for 2, and that ties the game. But in the department of how things could have gone much worse, it's not just for Ottawa, it's for Saskatchewan, as Kuba had a shot, possibly a pick 6 here.
Yeah, and you see him there on the very far right, kind of highlighted. He sits on this thing, sees it, drives up. You know, you're excited that he has a PBU, but I think if you're Ottawa right there, he catches this thing clean. There's a very good chance that this is a 2-possession game instead of a tie game. So when you're a team like Ottawa, and I'm not trying to be, you know, negative Nelly, so to speak, but you don't have necessarily a ton of talent. You haven't been able to put it together. Those plays add up. They really do. When you have a play to make, you have to make them, especially against a Grey Cup winning team in the Riders.
Well, that's been a problem for Ottawa too. Even the hands in the secondary, where they nearly beat Winnipeg, arguably should have beaten the Bombers in overtime. And that was a bit of an issue, as it is caught there by Eberhard again, who had their biggest reception of this game so far down near the goal line that set up their touchdown.
Really nice job here by Eberhard. He's not first in progression, so you're going to see him sit it down at the top. See how he's working back here, Rod? That's why he gets a catch. He knows he's not first in progression. Jake Merritt, who's working the left side of the field, came all the way back. Just that little detail, it secures the catch for him.
1:47 on the clock until halftime. Ottawa certainly demonstrated they can move the football. And need to quickly here to set up more points before they head to the dressing room. That is caught just across the 50 and right around first down yardage for the Redblacks. Eberhard again.
I'm telling you, Rod, it's a skill. It's a skill. Jake Mayer right now to be able to sit in there. And what I want you to watch is his head here. When we roll this, see how he's looking one way, and to sit back in here, he looks left, he sees it's not open, and to have the ability to go through 2. I believe that's his 3rd read there. Deliver the ball in a tight window. Nice work.
Mayer to throw again. Deeper to the right. And no. Intended there for Khalil Pimpleton. Jonathan Edouard in the coverage who went up for it as well, but just a little bit too high for Pimpleton to come down and stay in bounds.
A heck of a throw and catch. They don't count, but my goodness. I mean, wow. Whoa.
Oh, that is so close.
Whoa.
That is so close. See the toes touching just as the ball was coming in. That's an amazing catch.
Amazing.
By Pimpleton.
Wow. Another look at that. Could be a world here where this thing counted.
I think they're taking a look now, but a player down for the Redblacks. That's Pimpleton. As it stands, it's a second down and 10. The ball at the 51. Now another look at his feet as this ball comes in.
Fetch.
Just missed. Just missed.
Yeah, I think he's a couple centimeters away there from getting the feet in.
To that left foot down, but just you could see the white underneath, so that close. But you're right. As far as incomplete passes go, that's one of the nicest you're going to see.
Yes.
Second and 10, 1:17 on the clock until halftime. Redblacks hoping to have a chance to take the lead back. Another four-man rush. Mayer unloads down the right again, but no. Closest to it is Marcus Sales, and a flag is out in that area down the right side, down the rail where Mayer was putting it, and too far even for Sales, and this could be a very big flag here.
Mayer took a shot here.
There is no flag on the field. The result of the play is third down.
So that one's waved off as well. So no penalty. Third down coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a four-man rush. And my guy Mike Rose again just coming in here and just bullying. You turn the film on. He's got two alignment on him here at one point. But he does this, it seems like, every play. He's an impressive watch. If you're a young kid at home, you're a defensive tackle, I would turn on some Mike Rose film. That guy plays the game very hard.
Low snap for Getman. Remember, a change at long snapper. It is Anthony Gosselin doing it after the injury to Peter Adji earlier in the game.
Rod, you said it. And again, in a game right now, it's 6-6. This is what I mean by you lose your long snapper. This is an inch or two away from being a catastrophic error at the long snapper position.
And a shorter punt for Getman as well, as Saskatchewan will scrimmage, still with over a minute to go till halftime from their 29. So will the Riders have a chance to break this tie before the half? Here is Harris. Wide open to the left. Keyshawn Johnson turns it up, gets to midfield and out of bounds with 59 seconds to go.
It's a busted coverage. This is something they like doing again. It's the corner out by Keyshawn, and they run a short in underneath of it. And Ottawa, again, two guys on the same page. Both defenders are in the same zone, and all of a sudden, the best receiver on the field tonight for Saskatchewan is wide open and has a massive play.
And a great second quarter so far for Keyshawn Johnson when they need it. The Riders at the 51. They spot it. Harris steps up. Doesn't run often, but he does run there, and his old teammate A.J. Allen to wrap him up, and another flag is out in the Redblacks secondary. A.J. Allen with the football, thinking it should be Ottawa's.
Doesn't know it's
trying to sell
his own team.
Prior to the scramble, illegal contact on the receiver, Ottawa number 20. This is a 10-yard penalty, makes it a first down for Saskatchewan.
Illegal contact against Alonzo Adai. Have a look at the end on that Trevor Harris run. A.J. Allen just trying to wrestle that ball away. Moot point, penalty Ottawa. Drive continues. No, Johnson couldn't continue that great second quarters. That one's into the hands, but it heads down incomplete.
It's an uncharacteristic moment there by Keyshawn Johnson.
And so instead, 50 seconds, still plenty of time. And a first down away, no more than a legitimate field goal shot here for Alex Hale. who has not had one over 50 yards in this his first CFL season, has had a 48. Harris trying to work him closer and down to about the 40. That's Johnny Johnson, one of the new receivers this year with the Riders, and has his first catch. And that's close to the first down marker. 44 ticks to go till the end of the half, and they put it down in first down territory. The sticks will move down at the Ottawa 39.
It's a nice catch by Johnny Johnson. If he wants to be more heavily involved in this offense, you got to continue to make plays like that. Long second down, gets the sticks, strong hands.
So in long field goal range now, trying to work closer underneath again to Dell Duncan Busby, his second catch of this, and they get it inside the 35. And still plenty of time to think end zone, 32 seconds. The ball is put down at the 32.
Yeah, and they did win the toss and deferred, so they will get the ball back.
So here come the Riders now. Four-man pressure. Over the middle again and caught. First down. They get closer. Johnny Johnson again. And Saskatchewan is in business with 20 seconds to go until halftime.
And this is awesome. So Trevor's looking left because they have a double move called. So they're trying to get a double move here, and it's not there. And again, it's like a computer. Boom, it's not there. I got to get to my third read. Delivers a strike. First down.
Quickly getting another play off. And coming back now is Keyshawn Johnson. Another catch for him as Saskatchewan gets closer. Right down to the 5.
Trevor is operating. They're in no huddle right now. He's giving signals. He's lining things up. He's seeing it pre-snap.
It's a 2nd and 1. 10 seconds. End zone. Touchdown. And it's kind of fitting who gets it. The member of the Big Three who could play tonight, Keyshawn Johnson, has Saskatchewan's touchdown.
It's man coverage, and you know Trevor's going to go to his guy. And it's a great, great win on a slant. So you're going to see him come inside here and just run a quick slant. But once he sees his man, there's a little pressure step as he, boom, and you get that DB to kind of take that step. Trevor's going to fit it in that window. It's a nice win for Keyshawn. And that's a dynamic duo that obviously you're feeling pretty good about. If you're going to play him at man, you're taking that matchup all day.
And Alex Hale does come out, as we thought he might at the end of the first half, but for a point after instead of a field goal is Saskatchewan. Right at the end of the first half, and that touchdown catch by Keyshawn Johnson, his 6th of the season, has the Riders ahead.
And Rod, I love talking situational football. Look, see that little look. So you're gonna play Keyshawn a man? No problem. We got a winner here. I know exactly what I'm doing here. You just saw a little glance before the ball was snapped, but this is what good teams do. It's been a struggle. It's been a lot of strain, but all of a sudden you have a phenomenal job in key moments. Again, we just kind of put it all under the umbrella of situational football. You have this unbelievable drive, and you're going to kick this ball off, assuming you cover it well. You're going to get the ball right back again, start the half, and potentially go up 2 scores. That's what great teams do. They win situational football.
High fives all around for Keyshawn Johnson, and Rider fans must be thinking that's more like it. 10 unanswered points in this second quarter. 7 seconds to go. 8 plays, 81 yards. In 57 seconds, that's it. As Saskatchewan finds the end zone. Keyshawn Johnson, 8 catches, 107 yards now. And so it is Attaboy on the kick return as the clock counts down to zeros. Well, Ottawa had the lead. They got some breaks. They got in front. But the Riders eventually settled down, and for Ryan Dinwiddie, still looking for that first win of the season, finds his team now in a 7-point hole heading to halftime.
Yeah, you go back to that 3rd down play. Ottawa doesn't execute on a wide open man. And on the flip side, Saskatchewan has Keyshawn wide open. They do execute. It's a big play.
It was a quieter first quarter for Keyshawn Johnson, Luke, but in that second quarter. Time after time, Trevor Harris looking to him, and ultimately, as mentioned, 8 catches for 107 yards, including his 6th touchdown of the season.
I think Mark Mueller said, all right, we're going to go to what we know here.
And we'll go down to Keyshawn with Brett.
Keyshawn, I know there's a few key pieces missing on your offense right now. Just how much did you embrace that role, trying to be a key piece for this group and for the other guys?
I'm just trying to be whatever my team needs. A few plays out there that I left out there. We can't let those happen because it's a good football team that we're playing against, and all the plays are going to come down.
Talk to me about the motivation to get not just 1 touchdown, but I know you're looking for a second, because I understand you have 2 daughters in the crowd watching their first football game of yours tonight.
Yeah, it means a lot. My kids being here, I'm just trying to go out there and give them make them proud and do what I do best, and that's the only goal. But like I said, there's too many drops out there. I have 2, and I can't have that.
Well, thanks for their time.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, a tight ball game. We'll see how this one pans out.
All right, Britt, we are Bud Light at the half. And yes, thanks to that 8-play, 81-yard drive, it is the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking the lead into the break. And gentlemen, I know not a lot of big plays. I don't want to say exciting plays, because we saw a lot of wacky plays, including Khalil Pimpleton kind of getting stuck there on the snap. But it was the play at the end of the first quarter where it was the unnecessary roughing call on the long snapper and all that situation that led to Ottawa's first touchdown and the only touchdown they scored in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the unnecessary roughness. You heard Luke talk quite at length about it. I didn't think it was a penalty that Corey Mays definitely didn't agree with it at all. I mean, the whole idea of this is you want to protect the long snappers, meaning once he snaps the ball, you want to give him an opportunity to raise his head. And when you watch this play, it looks like he did raise his head, took a couple steps back even to set, and then he got hit. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing football. You got to let him play. I didn't think that was a penalty at all. And it was a crucial penalty because it led to a touchdown after.
Yes. First of all, let's hope Peter IG is better. But that right there should not have been a penalty.
No.
That should have been a big play for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, putting them in a position to score. And then on the ensuing drive, because it was a penalty, Ottawa actually went down and scored. So it's fortunate that these Roughriders are still in the league, because if they weren't, that's what we'd be talking about right now, because they'd be in a position to possibly not win this game, but they were able to overcome that. But that has to be corrected. I don't know if the command center can do something about it, but that has to be corrected. And this right here, Ottawa has to correct this defensive play. This is cover 0, if I'm correct, but what do they have, Enoch? They have guys sitting in the middle of the hole?
No man's land. If you're bringing pressure, you got to commit to it, and that's the whole defense. I'm looking at Aaron Casey right there, and that's a defense. And again, it must be the fact that you got a new coach in the middle of the season and you're implementing a style of defense that you didn't necessarily go over the details of it. So if you're bringing pressure, bring pressure. You can't have anybody in no man's land.
Yes.
And you guys said that made that look easy, but that wasn't our Bud Light easy call of the first half. That was courtesy of Aiden Ederhart. Went 5 for 5, caught all 5 of his targets in the first half for 59 yards. 27 of those yards coming right here, setting up the Redblacks on the one. Bryson Barnes able to punch it in. And 13-6 is where we stand. And just a reminder, we've got Cody Fajardo coming up after the break as we start to look ahead to that Elks game tomorrow.
Cause runner up is not an option. We keep it moving cause it ain't no stopping. And we ain't stopping till we finish. It's game time. Time to handle business. Cause runner up is not an option. We keep it moving cause it ain't no stopping. And we ain't stopping till we finish. It's game time. Time to handle business.
The final 2 games of the week come your way tomorrow. Yes, we've got a doubleheader, and kicking things off, that marquee matchup between the Elks and the Owls, and then it's the Kitty Cat Bowl. Nathan Rourke set to return. He's missed his last 2 games because of that shoulder injury. All gets underway at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Top team in the East going up against the top team in the West. I don't think it gets much better than that. But we want to hear from one of the quarterbacks that'll be featured in that big game on Saturday, and taking a little bit of a break from the preparations for those Montreal Alouettes. We're happy to welcome in Cody Fajardo, the starting quarterback for the Edmonton Elks. Cody, we know why we're excited for the game on Saturday. What makes you so excited for this matchup?
I mean, there's a lot to be excited about. I think you got two high-flying offenses, two defenses that take the ball away, and special teams and physicality. That's what this game's going to be. It's going to be a slugfest. We were able to get the best of them in overtime at our place, and so I know they're fired up to have them, us here and hosting us. But guys are fired up, and we're excited to play this opportunity. I told the guys throughout the week, this is kind of like a mini playoff run where you play the Saskatchewan Roughriders in a Western final, and then you go out and play Montreal in the Grey Cup. So for our young guys, this is a good opportunity for them to get some big games played.
Yes. Cody, take us behind the curtains and talk to us about your approach as a team. You guys have so much talent, specifically offensively speaking. You have a guy that's super capable in Justin Rankin. You got a great backup in Javon Lee, got a running back. And then you have you as well, somebody who's been there, done that, and who has the ability to put up 500-plus yards as well. I want to hear from you. What's it like having to, I don't even know, do you suppress your abilities, or how do you gauge when you walk into a game? Do you say, hey, I'm taking over this game, or, you know, how do you approach that offensively?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what shows our strength offensively is we will win games in multiple different ways. If we got to run the ball to win, we'll do that. If we got to pass the ball to win, we'll do that. We have a lot of selfless guys on this team, including this offense where, you know, we've had some receivers not touch a ball for the first 3 quarters. Game-winning drive, I think a TJ in Winnipeg, he catches like 4 or 5 after not touching a ball for like 3 quarters, and really big opportunities to get the ball. And nobody's complaining. Nobody's saying, hey, give me the ball on the sideline. Like, just a lot of guys who trust the process, trust what Jordan's calling upstairs. And we, like I said, we can beat you in multiple different ways. And that's what makes this offense, I think, one of the best in the CFL.
Cody Milsteagle here. First of all, thank you for joining us. And I have a 2-part question. First question being, stats-wise, your best year came in 2019. You threw for over 4,300 yards and 18 touchdowns. But this year, you're on pace to throw for almost 5,800 yards and 32 touchdowns. What changed? And my second part is, the last time you two played, again, you played against Montreal, you had the game-winning touchdown. And when you crossed that goal line, it felt like it was personal. And I know you're all about business, but when you play the Montreal Alouettes, and I want you to answer this question like your kids are watching. You can't lie. Is it personal when you play the Montreal Alouettes?
Shoot them straight, Cody.
Answer those 2 questions for me.
No pressure.
Absolutely. I'll start with that second one. No, I played for 5 teams in this league. Everybody, it's personal for everybody at this point.
That's a good answer.
You know, everywhere I've been, I've pretty much been shipped out and had to prove myself somewhere else and win somewhere else. And that's just been part of my career. That's just who I've been in this league. And if you don't want me here, I'm going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to prove to the league over again. And I'm going to prove to the league over again. So I play with the chip on my shoulder. But, yeah, it's really exciting just to be a part of this offense and be with McSimic for my second year. Last year was incredibly hard for me as a backup, being thrust into that role where the offense was more tailor-made for Trey, and then Jordan and myself were trying to figure each other out through games that we have to win. We were like so behind the standings. It was like win now, but there was no time to kind of figure out each other. We were really figuring out through fire. So having a whole offseason to kind of sink my teeth in this playbook, sit down with Jordan and talk about my likes, my dislikes, how he calls plays, how he likes to call certain plays, certain concepts. We had a really great conversation in the offseason, and I think that's why you see the numbers are kind of inflated this year. But, I mean, offensively, I feel like I'm having my best year, and I'm fighting to, you know, be relevant with the other quarterbacks around the league, because these guys are just putting up stupid numbers. So it's been a lot of fun to be around, and the league's got such great products. I'm just happy to finally be talked about among the elites in this league.
Got 2 more numbers before we let you go. I'm sure you don't need a reminder of this. You are 5-1 against your former team, the Montreal Alouettes. I know you'd like nothing more than improve to 6-1 after Saturday's game. Cody, we appreciate it. Have fun on Saturday, and we will definitely be watching.
We appreciate you guys. It's going to be a great CFL game, and I think it's one of those games that whoever has the ball last, that's who's going to win the football game. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Again, that kicks off our doubleheader 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Meanwhile, back in Regina, the sun is setting. Teams leading at the half, 28-6 this season.
Friday Night Football at Mosaic at the half, and it's the Riders leading this one by 7. And a look at the halftime numbers. Ottawa had the lead for a while. Still in it, though, but Trevor Harris, Keyshawn Johnson really catching fire in that second quarter. Of note for Ottawa is Aiden Eberhardt, their leading receiver, and here he is now with Brett.
Aiden, what's it say about the determination level of this group, keeping it to a one-score ball game?
Yeah, you know, we're playing pretty good ball right now. We do have some mistakes, especially on the offensive end. We've been driving down. We just got to put the ball in the end zone. So, you know, it's always good to be like, you know, we're one score, but we need to win this game.
What sort of adjustments can we expect from this offense in this half?
We just got to clean up the details. At the end of the day, in the red zone, you got to be on your details everywhere, you know, every single position. And once you clean up the details, you're going to get better looks and score with the ball.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, the Riders wanted the ball to start the second half. Johnny Johnson takes it on the kick by Getman. He gets it out to the 28. So Saskatchewan, the offense, Luke, as mentioned, catching more life, especially with that drive late in the first half.
Yeah. During the return, illegal block, Saskatchewan number 2. We'll go back 10 yards. It's going to be first down.
And a big part was this man right here. I mean, Keyshawn Johnson, he's got a ton of chemistry with Trevor. They basically focus in here. It'll be interesting to see if Ottawa starts to shade a safety over there, play a little tighter coverage underneath. That's what I would do right now if I was new defensive coordinator Jeff Reinbold. Take away Keyshawn and make one of the other receivers beat you.
Big challenge now for Reinbold taking over as defensive coordinator from Will Fields, who was let go after the loss to Montreal last week. And only 13 on the board for Saskatchewan, but those points coming late. They showed they could move the ball. They'll start deep with the penalty. Swinging it out now to Johnny Johnson, trying to get him in some space as he gets around the corner and picks up a few yards. Johnson, mentioned, one of the new additions this season in that Rider receiving corps.
I think Johnson's made a few nice plays today. Even there, again, I think Mark Mueller's going to kind of like his. He's got to find today a couple more weapons to develop. You know, coming into it, he had the luxury of having Sam Emilus and Shaver Baker, and obviously Keyshawn. One of these guys has to step up today, and Johnny Johnson certainly making a statement.
Well, on that catch and run, picks up 4 yards, gets it up to the 12 and a 2nd and 6. Harris steps up with time, and no, looks like he had Deshaun Mims for what would have been a first down, but he can't hang on. Lucas Cormier on the coverage, and the Riders will have to punt deep from their zone.
Yeah, they're doing something to confuse. You can see Trevor looking back right here. There must be something on film here, but Trevor's assuming a linebacker to buzz to the flat, and he's trying to rip a seam in here. It's the same play that he threw the interception earlier in the game, and they're just giving him a different look where that linebacker is dropping back, and it's got him a couple times. I think they'll have an answer for that here very soon.
Oscar Chapman standing just inside his end zone. Khalil Pimpleton at the Ottawa 45. Whistle down and a flag and a time count. And again, Corey Mace wanting an explanation for this penalty.
We're not going to penalize for a time count. It was our mistake. We took too long to get a new football in. We'll replay it down with a 20-second clock.
Nice, sincere explanation by the referee, Ben Major.
Yeah, Ben Major. Our mistake. I like that. A little accountability.
The officials own that one, so no penalty. And Chapman has the kicking ball and kicks it for Pimpleton, who takes it inside the Rider zone. Khalil Pimpleton, pretty good return, too, straight up the middle, down to about the 42. Well, big play in the first half when Saskatchewan was flagged for roughing Ottawa's long snapper, Peter Adjei. So that took points off the board for the Riders, Luke, but also you could say the change at long snapper took the points off the board for Ottawa, too.
Yes, you see right there, it's a bad snap, and then all of a sudden we have a weird hold, and this was the extra point. So I get it. Now all of a sudden you're like, hey, we didn't make one earlier, and we lose up front on this play, and then we fade away and we miss the throw. So a lot of people say, why did you go for it? Why are you being aggressive? Where I look at that and I say, you know, if you're head coach Ryan Dinwiddie, you're like, drive, got a backup snapper in. Our last field goal operation was brutal, and we missed it. Didn't make the kick. All week, I've got a coverage I like. I've got a play where I think someone's going to spit open. They flooded the side. They went to a quad look into the boundary. Everything worked perfect, and we can't get the block up front. So as much as you want to blame him for being aggressive, I don't think you can blame him at all.
That may just be the explanation why they did go for it on third down in the first half. There is lots of time and an open receiver too. The catch for Justin Hardy, and he has it inside the 20. And right away in one quick strike, the Redblacks are in business again.
Little play action. You're going to see Hardy come up here and basically run it in. You got to clear out inside of him. So here he goes. Boom. Everything clears out. He sits behind it. What they did was they had a pulling guard. Little play action. Draw those linebackers in. Jake Mayer fitted in between there. Nice window. Big start.
Down to the 18 of Saskatchewan. Mayer tries to just dump it off, trying to get the attention of his running back as he was faced with pressure and Greg Bell. Didn't get it close enough to him, and it falls incomplete, second down.
This is a tough one. Again, a broken play, but you'd like something to be made here, at least get you into second and medium. And you're sitting at second and 10. You got to rely on Jake Mayer to make a play here.
It looks like movement at right tackle with Pearl as the flags do come out. Julian Pearl, the right tackle for the injured Zach Pelios.
Offside, Ottawa number 7. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
So movement there, but they actually flag Aiden Eberhardt for being offside.
Again, it's just, they get down here, second and 10, Rod. I'm going to pull my hair out. It's the self-inflicted play, so you're playing Saskatchewan on the road. You can't have these mistakes.
So 5 back, second and 15. The Rider 23. Mayer. Deep, caught, looking for the end zone again, and the ball comes out. Trying to push it across for a touchdown. It is a Redblacks touchdown. Ball came out after the plane was broken. And what a moment for Ottawa's offense, facing a second and 15. To find Hardy inside the 5. He certainly took a chance, wanting to make sure he had that touchdown.
And Jake Mayer takes a big hit here, layers this throw. Each does it. Boom. I think he's in there. I know the ball pops out, but on second and 15, absolute strike down the middle of the field. That's in. That's in.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is confirmed.
So they looked at that again.
And Rod, back to her point about the long snapper and not loving your operation.
Well, clearly
you don't trust the snapper here. You would go for a tie here. This is why they're doing it.
They're going for 2. And you're right. Looks like there they get it. And it pays off. But it does look like a lack of faith right now in the field goal team with the change, it would seem, at long snapper and the injury to Peter Adjei. So Khalil Pimpleton picks up the 2. That pays off. And we do wonder later in this game, if it comes down to, say, a critical field goal, what the Red-Black decision will be. 2 points after the touchdown, and Ottawa has the lead again. Justin Hardy got the touchdown combined with a 2-point conversion that has given Ottawa the lead.
Yeah, you're going to see Hardy right here on your screen. Runs a similar play from earlier in the drive. Pushes up, foot in the ground, and bends around that dropping linebacker. Finds the void in the zone. And the 2-pointer is a well-struck ball, well-thrown ball, right in the corner. Tough spot to defend there when you're playing zone coverage.
Firing bring up the head coach, Ryan Dinwiddie. Looking for a win in 2026. They at least have the lead again. Second time that they've had it. Here we are in the third quarter. Johnny Johnson on the return. Across the 25, the 30. He gets up to the 40. Another good return for Johnny Johnson. Remember last week in Edmonton, busted one for 87 yards, nearly had a touchdown for the Riders.
And it feels like one of those nights, Rod, where a special teams play will be made. Whether it's Pimpleton on the other side or Johnny Johnson, it's going to be the difference. That's kind of my general gut feeling right now on how this game's going.
There's Pimpleton on the right, talking to Hardy. Two explosive players, Pimpleton especially, as you say, on the returns. But yeah, we've already seen so much. Some strange things in this game. Here's Harris standing in, and they've got him. It's Bryce Carter. Just on the edge, came around, and as Harris waited, Carter had just enough time to get his second sack of the season. And he is still down. In his fourth year at a James Madison University, Bryce Carter.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you have an extra offensive lineman here. Bell comes in and is playing tight end, and he just loses. Like, you have him in there to win that rep, and he gets swum. And a lot of times, and I'm a little biased here, Rod, but I always found when you put the big guys out at tight end, like, oh yeah, it's just the same thing as offensive line. The angles are much different. Right. You've got to be a lot more agile when you're that far removed. And Bell's obviously used to playing inside. You're kind of on an island out there as well. It's not as easy as some of these O-linemen think.
Some of those defensive ends are pretty quick feet too, right? Part of the package. Right now, after the sack, and Carter is still down. It's been a while since the Redblacks have won a game, especially since they've won a game here at Mosaic Stadium. You got to go back 2,883 days, Luke. That's back to 2018. And who was Ottawa's quarterback back then? Guy by the name of Trevor Harris.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is a wild stat right there.
Harris had a great year in 18. Redblacks went 11-7, went on to lose to Calgary in the Grey Cup that year. That was Harris's last game with Ottawa. Working here against his old team again. Long route intended for Deshaun Mims, excuse me. Somehow that sneaks in. And a big one for Mims, getting a chance to get more targets in this game tonight.
Talk about thread the needle, and that's the perfect angle to see it. Not a big window, and Trevor Harris gets it done.
And then back to the ground. We saw earlier Quali Connolly limp off and Thomas Bertrand-Hudon come on late in the first half, and Bertrand-Hudon gets that carry. We'll have another look. Deshaun Mims, whose dad, Robert Mims, ended his career with Saskatchewan. He was the CFL's leading rusher back in 1996. That'd make Dad proud.
Yeah, absolutely.
Harris runs again for the second time in this game. Only had 3 carries coming into this game tonight. And that one is enough for a first down, Saskatchewan.
And they're up tempo right now. No huddle. Trevor Harris at the line of scrimmage, operating right now, giving signals.
Quali Connolly remains on the sideline. He's been filling in for A.J. Ouellette. So Thomas Bertrand-Hudon. The throw to the right, wide open. Keyshawn Johnson again. Shad Kuba there in coverage, but lots of room for Johnson to add to his totals tonight.
And this must be, again, no huddle. They're seeing something they like. A bit of a back shoulder go ball here, but there's still no huddle, which is not always traditional for them. Signals at the line of scrimmage.
Right from the 23, Bertrand-Hudon with the carry. Straight up the gut, down inside the 20.
I have a feeling that they're trying to basically limit what defensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, Jeff Reinbold can call right now. So whether it's different looks that he's been given, things that they weren't expecting because he is a new defensive coordinator. Hey, You want to play this game where you're showing us something new? Well, let's see if you guys communicate signals this week.
Second down and 5 from the 18. That's caught and more! Touchdown! Dylan Jette, in his first CFL start, has his first CFL touchdown.
This is one of Trevor Harris's favorite concepts. It's a two-man side. They run a corner route on the inside, and they're in the, basically, they run a corner route here, and then you come underneath here, and you just let this thing ride. So here we go. You got Keyshawn on the corner. There's your underneath route. Trevor is unbelievable at seeing it pre-snap. Gets the ball out on time. Jette does the rest, making a man miss.
And now they will go for 2. In a 19-14 game, trying to make it an even 7 for Saskatchewan in the touchdown lead. And Harris with lots of time lobs it in and has it to Keyshawn Johnson. Another 2-point conversion.
And guess what, Rod? It's the exact same play to the other side. Just a different coverage this time. So you got the corner, you got the inside route.
We know what Keyshawn Johnson can do. Harris was excited about these young kids getting a chance, including Jette. He gets the 6 points, and then there's the 2. Dylan Jette, his first CFL touchdown. Hey, Luke, Trevor Harris was excited to see the young guys get involved, and they certainly got involved in that drive.
Yes, they did. It started here with Mims. I mean, it's a tremendous catch, going down and getting it. Trevor using his legs a little bit, gave a first down flash after this bad boy. And then all of a sudden, you go back to Keyshawn, and Jette finishes this thing off. This looks like the Riders' style of offense. Keyshawn's obviously the focus tonight. We're kind of wondering what Jette, Mims, Johnny Johnson kind of make their mark, and all 3 of them now have had big moments in this game thus far.
Jette from Lévis, Quebec, just around Quebec City in the South Shore, drafted in the 2nd round, 18th overall. And a night he won't forget, as the Riders have the lead again by 7. On the return is Pimpleton, up close to the 35, a little bit shy of that. So back comes Jake Mayer. Now Ottawa's shown they can move the football. They have to continue to. Mayer's 18-24 for 212 yards and a touchdown pass.
Yeah, and this is the moment where I think Jake Mayer could start to change the narrative that's going on with him. You know, they say, oh, he's a good quarterback, but can he get teams over the hump? We're on the road. Trevor Harris is heating up. If you could find a way to win this one, it would certainly be a statement.
Right up at the 35, 1st and 10, Ottawa. Down again, 7 points down, 4-man rush. Mayer over the middle, a bit too far, and nearly intercepted by Jonathan Edouard. He was looking for Greg Bell. It went a bit too far, and Edouard was that close to having himself a pick.
Ottawa's coming out in the second half aggressive, and this is one you're just going to want back. You know, you said you're going to Bell, generally a running back, so you're a little off there. If that ball is 1 foot down, it's a big start. But instead, you're staring at 2nd and long against 40 linemen that can really pass rush.
Taking the spot of Roland Milligan, who's injured on the 6th game at the boundary halfback spot. Edouard. Mayer steps up under the pressure, and he gets it to Eberhardt. But a good, solid first half. He's been Ottawa's top receiver, and it looks like, yes, a first down for the Redblacks. Look at what he did in the first half.
He's played well today. You know, it's been Eberhardt has been on it. Mayer's been solid. Eberhardt seems to be Mr. Reliable for Jake Mayer. He big moments, even right there, 2nd and long, always finds a way to get to him.
6 catches, 76 yards on the first down. That is out for Keelan White. And just a couple of yards, and he is wrapped up to Marcus Fields. The field half coming in to stop him. Limit him to a game of 2. Riders come in at 5-2. Edmonton at 6-2. They just split a pair of games. So they, for now anyway, could move into a tie for first in the West if they can get this win tonight. Edmonton plays Montreal this week. The throw caught by Cade McDonald. And the signal is a catch. Keeping a foot in bounds, McDonald. And after Eugene Lewis was released this week, he got a spot in the starting lineup for Ottawa.
This is an unbelievable throw. You want to talk about arm talent. He whips this thing out here right in the sideline. Perfect throw and catch. And another second down and long conversion.
Just kept that left foot in bounds. Quickly again. Eberhardt, but no. Can't hang on. Incomplete. Second down, and they are at the Saskatchewan 41.
Again, coming into this game, Ottawa was ranked 9th out of 9 teams, obviously, in second down conversions. They've done a good job tonight, and they've been in second and long, so they need another one here. But
Mosaic crowd loud again, trying to fire up that defense, make it harder for Mayer. Pressure coming, and he has to get rid of it. The heat was on. It was Josh Woods, the weak side linebacker, firing in, and Mayer just did not have enough time. And a flag is out. Will this be a grounding call?
Intentional grounding, Ottawa number 13. It's going to be loss of down, third down.
I'll tell you, Woods lines up in the A-gap, and he's actually trying to, so here is Woods. He's trying to pick. He's not even trying to rush it first. He's trying to open up his teammate. See, he's not even looking. And we miss it running back, and he comes up. It's a legitimate grounding call.
Has to get it across the line of scrimmage. Did not, so it is grounding, and Noah Getman on to punt it away. And a good snap, by the way, from Gosselin. We've been talking about him as the backup long snapper. And on that return, Daniel Weebus nowhere to go. Swarmed by Brian Cole and Lucas Cormier. And the Riders, well, drove down for a touchdown last time, but they got a long field to work with again. The pressure on Mayer. Woods coming in, had to throw it away. Riders with the lead and the ball. There are several former Riders in the Redblacks now, including that man, A.J. Allen, Grey Cup champion in 2025. Let's go back to Brett.
Thanks, Rod. A.J. Allen shared with us just how tough it was actually going to be for him tonight, being on the away side at the stadium. He said, I've never been on that side before. You mentioned the Grey Cup. This offseason, he was able to take the Grey Cup back to his hometown in Burlington. One of the places he was able to bring it to, his old high school. He also went on to take it to his mom's work, even the place that he said he bought his car from. That's how much his hometown means to him. He said, I just wanted to show them so much love, and was amazed at the hundreds of people that came out. He said, I expected maybe 20 or 30 people. Now, of course, he's trying to bring some of that winning culture to Ottawa this season. He said it's obviously been a tougher year. One thing he has enjoyed, though, playing closer to home.
Thank you, Brett. Yeah, that was a breakout year, Luke, for him last year with the Riders, earning a starting spot at will linebacker. And that's something tough this year, but they can never take that away, the memory of winning a championship.
Absolutely. He's a tremendous player. Really fun to watch.
Rider football now, and Trevor Harris goes to work again, this time to Johnny Johnson. Up over the 25. Their last possession, they drove down the field, 81 yards on an 8-play drive to pick up that touchdown for Dylan Jete and take that 7-point lead.
As you're seeing right now, they obviously are back in the huddle, so I was wondering if they'd come out and stay in that up-tempo, not right off the bat at least.
On the play fake, dumping it off to Deshaun Mims. He had a big catch in that touchdown drive the one before. And a nice grab to keep things going. And as that pick up on first down.
Yeah, you're going to see him on the left side. I got a little worried here because when you watch the running back, it's a play fake, and we actually hit Mims on the way out. So you'd like the timing to be a little smoother there, but they managed to get it done and found a way.
Right, 63 Boston, yellow, ready.
Sean Mims, a Regina kid, has mentioned his dad, Robert, played for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the late 90s. Went to U of R. Getting some touches tonight, including that one. Mims again. What a night he's having. Up across the 40. And the sticks move again for Saskatchewan.
And they've now gone away from huddling. So, again, some sort of tell. Mark Mueller saying, hey, we like a matchup. So we're calling signals at the line, and we're just going.
Well, that's Johnson again. Johnny Johnson, too, as Harris continues to mix things up. Depleted receiving core, but working with the receivers he has, and it's been very effective, especially in the second half.
Yeah, that second quarter was obviously all Keyshawn Johnson, but since then, it's been by committee, and certainly Trevor Harris has settled into this game.
8 straight completions, Trevor Harris. Let's make it 9. Keyshawn Johnson again, just across midfield. And yes, this veteran QB and that Rider offense is really heating up now.
And once again, they're no huddle. It's fun to watch Trevor right here. He's giving signals. He's commanding the field right now, and boy, is he in the zone.
Over 300 yards passing. And running now, Thomas Bertrand-Audon. He's the running back after the injury to Quali Conley, filling in for the injured A.J. Ouellette. And a good pickup there for Bertrand-Audon, a first down Riders.
And just watch this entire offensive line move bodies. You see the 4 guys there, and Bertrand-Audon does a great job pressing the hole, but this O-line is imposing their will on Ottawa's defensive front right now. It certainly feels like this is the moment that can kind of break this game open.
Down to the 43. Well, Quali Conley is back in. First touch of the second half. Had been hurt earlier, or hobbled certainly, as he gets it inside the 40, as the Riders continue to run the football. There's A.J. Ouellette. And they swap off again. Bertrand-Audon back in the game. Conley in his 4th CFL game. Waited for his turn and has embraced his chance, as is Bertrand-Audon. This Rider drive continues with a 2nd and 7. Time for Harris. It's caught inside the 30. Mims again. Deshaun Mims in his 2nd year out of Regina. I think Harris limping a little bit there. Completing another pass. Right there. Just up from behind. So it seems fine. Throwing again. Oh, a tight coverage too. Kuba was right there, but it's Jete who had the touchdown catch earlier, who has another one there as we get late in the 3rd quarter.
And we're no huddle. Trevor is still limping a bit, but obviously able to deliver tight window throws still.
Well, they got a touchdown earlier on an 8-play drive. This is the 10th play of the drive. They're inside the Ottawa 25. And rolling. Johnny Johnson again. Good yardage after the catch, too. Works it inside the 10. 14 seconds to go in the 3rd. And we got a 1st and goal coming up for the green and white.
And this is just a quick throw here. You're going to see very quick game drop back. Ball comes out here. Snap. 1 step. Ball's delivered on time, and just the details. You see, he puts on the outside shoulder, knows the defender covering, he's coming from the inside, gets that yak.
Run a tempo again. Quickly inside the 5 and down near the goal line for Thomas Bertrand-Audon. On the final play of the 3rd quarter, gets that close to picking up a touchdown.
You know what that means, though. You know what time it is now.
It could be Tommy time.
It's Tommy time.
Just down before he could reach across and break the plane. And the 3rd quarter comes to an end Trevor Harris heading on. Tommy Stevens will head on. And short yardage here. As the Redblacks did come back in that second half to take the lead again. But this Rider offense is starting to look relentless. They got the lead, heading to the final 15, looking to add to it. The stats through 3 quarters as Saskatchewan is starting to take over this game. Hey, Luke, on a night that Trevor Harris goes over 40,000 yards for his career, really cooking now. He's completed 12 straight passes.
Yeah, and it looks easy right now. He's just in that flow state. He's seeing it really well. The ball's coming out accurately on time. Ottawa needs to do something. Well, even if it's something you don't feel comfortable, but Trevor Harris is way too comfortable with what's going on. The last 2 drives, he has looked like he's in practice, playing against air almost. Pre-snap, post-snap, and you got Tommy Stevens, basically Mr. Automatic on the 1-yard line right now.
Yeah, we showed you the numbers for Tommy Stevens in short yardage. They're just amazing. 28 for 28 from the 1. And here he comes down with the ball at the 1, looking for another short yardage rushing touchdown. He already has 8. Stevens, touchdown. Would you expect anything else? And by the way, every time he does that, the offensive line gets a box of donuts, courtesy Tommy Stevens. So break out another box.
You're being a lot of donuts this year. And what's cool about this, Tommy Stevens, and he deserves a lot of credit, but watch the right side of this line. You want to talk about putting I just want you to watch all this over here. Okay, boom, as soon as this ball snapped, I mean, Rod, I don't know what to tell you other than you're going to score a lot when the right side of your line is moving bodies like that.
Tommy Stevens just redefining the short yardage game, and did it in Calgary before coming over last year with the Stampeders, and has just kept it going. He had 1 game with the Stamps where he had 4 short yardage rushing touchdowns. He had 3 last week in Edmonton for the Riders, and he has 1 here. That's 9 rushing touchdowns to lead the way in the Canadian Football League.
And it kind of embodies, the Corey Mace style of football. When you hear their head coach talk, I mean, just look at the violence that they fire off the ball with. Tommy Stevens finishes it. It's a pretty special team, obviously, coming off the Grey Cup. And they do a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet extremely well. And just going to these 2 teams, Rod, we have flashed how great Tommy Stevens has been on short yardage. And if you've watched Ottawa this year, they've been atrocious on short yardage. And it kind of goes to show you where sometimes you take these things for granted when in reality they win and lose at games all the time.
I had a good chat with him before the Grey Cup last year at the Winnipeg Hotel where everybody was staying. He's very proud of this rule. You get some people, you feel like, okay, well, bide my time, but I want to get in and, I want to be the starter. I want to be number 1, everything else. He takes it very seriously. He's very proud of what he's done in the CFL in that specific rule. And you're right. We have seen times when teams don't have this. They don't have that kind of option. What a payoff it's been for the Riders. As they kick off, as Ottawa's now down 14. And it's Khalil Pimpleton. And gets bumped, gets it up around the 40, but Jake Mayer and the Redblacks have a lot of work to do. And I mentioned the rushing touchdowns, but overall, he does lead the way in touchdowns with 9 with that 1 he had. Tommy Stevens. All smiles now, and get another box of donuts up in front of you.
Those big boys be liking these donuts. It might make them go even a little harder.
Well, ask Corey Mace. Said he concerned that the O-line getting too many donuts. Not at all. Keep bringing it. It means they're scoring touchdowns. Jake Mayer underneath there to Greg Bell. 45, runs for a first down. He gets it up across the 50, closer to midfield. 14 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Redblacks trailing by 2 TDs.
It's a shame they haven't been able to get Greg Bell going on the ground this year, because even a little moment like that, like, he makes it look so easy. Catches this ball here coming out of the backfield. Looks like, oh, it's going to be a 5-yard gain. This is checked out. But look at this here. I mean, that's Jameer Thurman. That's a great tackler in this league. You'd love to see, if you're Ottawa, Bell be a little more active.
So here's Mayer throwing to the right, and that is caught by Pimpleton up at midfield. A gain of 4 yards, a 2nd and 6 coming up here for Ottawa.
I think the key here, there's still a lot of time left. If you're Ryan Dinwiddie, you don't want to get into the we have to push the ball down the field game. Find a way to score on this drive, get it back to a 1-possession game, and hope your defense can somehow slow down Trevor Harris.
Mayer's thrown for 260. It's a whole lot more now. Airing that out, intercepted. Jonathan Edwards stepped in front of Cade McDonald. And at the Saskatchewan 30, on that turnover, the Riders will take over. And that is just the 3rd interception for the Riders this season. Josh Woods, a linebacker, had the other 2. A first for the Riders secondary. They got a pick and a 14-point lead. Jonathan Edwards celebrating his first interception of the season, and here's how it played out.
Yeah, it was a great pick, but what I want you to watch right now is Devin Adams. Watch the spin cycle here on the youngster Picardo. Comes up, boom. That's a big body making that spin move, and Jake Mayer fades away from the throw. You can see the footwork's off. He's playing back, like, uh-oh, and they're not on the same page. Wardo makes a great interception. Adams has had a lot of big moments tonight on that defensive line.
10th pick thrown in the season by Mayer. Bertrand on, running back again and bulling his way through for a good first down pickup on the ground for Saskatchewan. Clearly in charge now after that turnover and a 2-touchdown lead.
Back to the no huddle, which is, again, been interesting. They've kind of been in and out of it, but certainly having a lot of success being in no huddle.
And a tumultuous week for the Redblacks, especially on defense after last week in Montreal. A change of coordinators with Jeff Reinbold put in. They wanted to simplify things, get on the same page that way. Harris again caught, first down and more. Johnny Johnson and Amari Henderson, the ex-Rider, tackles him and saves another Saskatchewan touchdown.
Troy, watch this back. I want you to look at Trevor Harris's eyes. He's going to look left. He's doing this to affect the high safety. So this is not a progression each season. See how it's very quick? He's just holding that safety to the left side of the field, knowing that Johnny Johnson is going to be coming down the middle of the field, and he needs to stretch the safety to give himself more space. Again, it's understanding coverage, pre-snap, and being able to execute. This man is on absolute fire right now.
29 of 37, 386 yards passing. Trevor Harris, flag out, as that's thrown for Dell Duncan Busby down at the 15. Flag came out quickly with the snap of the football.
Offside, Saskatchewan number 85. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay first down.
So penalty to push the Riders back a bit. But yeah, you talk about how Harris is just on fire, and it's Johnson and Johnson as well leading the way in the receiving corps with Johnny in 7 catches, 117. Keyshawn, of course, 11 for 133 and a touchdown. So yeah, injuries to the receiving corps, but Saskatchewan's finding a way, aren't they?
They absolutely are. And the numbers were a bit slow to start, but they've been moving the ball at will now.
Running again, running hard, running down near the 5 is Thomas Bertrand. A first down, a first and goal Saskatchewan.
Rod, this defense is tired. They've been going up tempo, they've been going no huddle, and you're going to see a double team here and here, and we're going to double team up and watch the movement both of these double teams get. Everybody is blocked up. You see Redback players falling over. Bertrand Houda is coming downhill like a bulldozer. I mean, this is the kiss of death right here if they get this one in.
Tommy Stevens is in at the 6. He's going to run. He's going to run it in. Forget short yardage. How about a 6-yard rushing touchdown? The CFL's touchdown leader.
Rod, this is almost impossible to stop because what happens is you end up with an extra blocker as your running back. So it's a generic run play, and you have to fill the gap. But then, as you see, Bertrand Houda turns into a fullback. So you're always +1. You've got a great runner in Tommy Stevens. It's tough to get down. It's a great play call. And I know it's the CFL, but the way this game's going right now, I think you just tucked in Ottawa and put them to sleep.
Yeah, celebration looming there for Stevens and the Riders on the sideline with Alex Hale on the point after. Tommy Stevens with his 40th career CFL touchdown. The point after is good. That's his 10th to lead the way in the CFL this year. And we talk about the 1-yarders. He's also at one for 26 yards, and then that one for 6. Tommy Stevens. Mark Mueller loving that. Tommy Stevens celebrating his 2nd touchdown of the night, 10th of the season. And time for another celebration, Britt.
Yeah, and guess what? That celebration, a nod to Stone Cold Steve Austin. He grew up a massive wrestling fan, and when he came to Rider Nation, they talked to him about some sort of walkout song and celebration song that he would have, and he gave a nod to him. He said, well, I think I want that theme song because nobody does it better than Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you saw it with the celebration afterward. And, you know, he said he believes it kind of fits the Pilsner vibe of Saskatchewan fans, and I will say I have never seen more fans in the stands for a short yardage QB with signs. One guy had his chest painted tonight for him, so he's doing his job.
Hey, Brett, I think they're pretty fired up in Pill Country especially. I mean, that last one, those 2 touchdowns have gone right down near Pill Country. They got the perfect view of them getting into the end zone twice more. Add to the 3 he got in Edmonton last week, so 5 in 2 games.
I got to respect the Stone Cold celebration.
Yeah.
I was a wrestling kid. I don't watch it much anymore, but I'll be honest with you. When I was a kid, that was Stone Cold.
Well, the personality fits too, doesn't it?
It was an electric time in the world of wrestling.
A big presence. Tommy Stevens. The Riders in general as a team have just taken over in this game. There's an underneath route, Greg Bell. But when you're down 3 touchdowns, 9:09 on the clock, at some point they've got to eat up some bigger yardage.
Yeah, I think you're going to see now Josh Bell, the defensive coordinator for Saskatchewan, play soft on the back end and give them the checkdowns. Just keep checking it down.
2nd and inches. Mayer himself plowing ahead over the 40. And it is a 1st down. But you do start to keep an eye on the clock as the Redblacks are staring an 0-8 start right in the face, prolonging the misery that they've had from the end of last season into this one. There is Bell. Excellent player with the Calgary Stampeders when he broke in and got into coaching after he retired. Won a Grey Cup in Calgary. Won one in Toronto with the Argos in 22. And going with Corey Mace to Saskatchewan, that throw is short for Eberhardt, incomplete.
As much as this game seems out of touch for Ottawa, when you haven't won a game, this is still quality time to refine your offense. So I do expect the ones to be in for the majority of this end of the game, and for them to continue to try and be aggressive.
And that's complete. That's McDonald. Said getting the start with Eugene Lewis being released after last week's game. Marcus Fields in on the tackle there. But to your point about Josh Bell and the Rider defense, I would think content to give them shorter passes. They get up to midfield here. 7.5 minutes to go, just under. Fourth quarter, underneath again. Keelan White. Good tackle there by Jackson Ford, the safety, and open space, but it's another 2nd and short coming up here for Ottawa.
So Jackson Ford is a guy that, you know, out of Regina, he's a big hitter at that safety position. Every time I see this guy, he's making a big hit somewhere.
Earning that spot at safety. 2nd and 1 and throwing. Caught, first down, Hardy. Now he turns it back the other way, breaks the tackle and picks up at least 5 more yards to get it down inside the 35. So Redblacks are moving their way down the field. It is a matter of keeping an eye on the clock as well. Steps up, checks that down, and Eberhardt breaks the tackle and gets inside the 20, down to about the 17. He's been their top receiver in the season and certainly has tonight. Another first down for Ottawa.
Rod, we're talking about it. I think that this receiving room in Ottawa is one of the most underrated rooms in the league. Hamilton, Hardy, Eberhardt, White. Like,
it's underneath again, and for the running back, Greg Bell. Another short pass.
And you look at total rush yards tonight, you're sitting at, Ottawa is currently sitting at 12. So it's tough that when you don't have any run game whatsoever, it's hard to get teams to play honest.
Mayer throwing again, takes a look to the end zone, but no. Going up high for it was Eberhardt. The coverage was very good. You see Jackson Ford among the riders in there. So 3rd and 5, and this, of course, makes total sense. They got to play 3-down football now, down 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and it looks like right guard Giovancardo might be down. So you got a 3rd and 5, and you're missing your starting right guard. That's you don't love that if you're Ryan Dinwiddie.
The problems continue to mount. Now, we did see last week against the Alouettes how Dinwiddie decided to start going for it even earlier in the second half when they were down multiple scores, just figuring we can't just keep taking field goals here. And then they were turning it over on downs, sometimes when they only needed a short distance and couldn't convert.
And I think part of that has been execution on the player standpoint, but also, Rod, if you go back a few weeks before their bye, they had the atrocious first, second, and third down from inside the 2 that they couldn't complete. That starts to play tricks in your mind as an offensive play caller. Hey, we had a shot against Winnipeg, couldn't get it done. Maybe I need to start drawing other stuff up.
So Giovancardo heads off. I think he needs a little work done on that left shoe as well.
Came out of a shoe as well.
3rd and 5. Ottawa needs a touchdown. At least a first down. Mayer throwing underneath again and caught. And it looks like it would be enough to move the sticks. They had to get to the 7.5, so it would be very close. So this is either, yeah, it is. Ben Major signals it. It is a 1st and goal coming up here for Ottawa. Keelan White. Just down low to hang on to that. There we go. And this is where Ottawa's offense has been lacking. Getting this close to the end zone. Needing a touchdown. Mayer down low. Intended for Eberhardt there inside the 5. 2nd down.
A cool front here by Josh Bell. They got guys roaming around. Only bring 4, but had me stumped up in the booth.
We have a timeout, Ottawa.
So they call a timeout. And, you know, a minute 21 away from the 3-minute warning. So getting that time out and in a critical spot right now for the Redblacks. But time and again, and we've seen it this season, you look at the numbers for Jake Maier and Ottawa's offense, an ability to move the football, but not cashing in.
Yes, and it's a solid game. I wouldn't say it was a great game by their offense, obviously only 14 points. When they review the film, Rod, they're going to say it's a lot of self-inflicted things. Missed throws, mental mistakes.
Can they get in the end zone here on the 2nd and goal? Maier, soft toss, touchdown. Keelan White gets it. They're still down a bunch of points, but they were able to move it down and get the payoff play for a touchdown, Ottawa Redblacks.
Well, this is pretty sweet here. I'm going to highlight Keelan White. What he's going to do, though, is he's going to push up, and then he's going to stutter his feet, and then pivot up the field. So it's a too high look, and you've got to, basically, they call it Tampa 2 dropper, and he stops to hold the dropper's feet, and then bursts into the wide open void, middle of the two high safeties. Cool little play design there, and well executed by the Redblacks.
3rd touchdown of the season for Keelan White. And now Lewis Ward is on for the point after try again. The snap, the spot, looked better, but he missed another point after. This time he hooked it just to the left of that left upright. So that has been a problem. Ward back with Ottawa for the injured Brett Lawther. But they do get the 6. They're still down 15, 4:08 in the clock here in the 4th quarter. Mosaic. Well, there's Corey Mace and Ryan Dinwiddie, 2 friends. They have worked together. They've won championships together. John Hufnagel, legendary especially for his time in Calgary, and underneath that tree, well, of course, Dave Dickinson for a long time. Rick Campbell was there as a defensive coordinator before he went off to Ottawa and won the Grey Cup, and Dinwiddie, 2 Grey Cups with the Argos. Corey Mace was there for one of those as defensive coordinator. They had won cups in Calgary too, and then Mace last year as a head coach with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Other coaches as well. Mark Killam, a long time in Calgary, is the influence from the Calgary Stampeders. And mentioning Rick Campbell, of course, the Edmonton years, quite influential for Campbell as well. But it's neat to see how they're all tied together, especially in a league with 9 teams.
Yeah, and that's, to me, when you talk about Hall of Famers and coaches, I put a lot of emphasis on what their tree is. And I think it's very telling as to when you can have a tree like that with the amount of success that people in the tree have had, goes to show you that you're doing something right as a coach.
Yeah. So now they line up for an onside kick here. Down 15 points. Ward puts it up, and there's another catch. An important catch for Keyshawn Johnson there. What kind of night he's had.
And a great job by the team here. You got to be selfless up front. You got to eat the hits. Just make sure your body is in the way of the person who is designated to catch it. Obviously here it's Keyshawn. It's about as clean as it comes there. He doesn't. I think you got maybe a hand on him at the very end of that thing.
Well, I'll tell you, especially with those injuries that they've had, and he was lamenting the 2 drops in the first half to Britt at halftime. And look, you had talked about this, a change at quarterback. Tommy Stevens is in. Regular 1st and 10 situation.
Yes.
And he'll do what he does best. He'll run just a couple of yards that time, but protecting Trevor Harris as well in a game that is pretty much in the bag here for the Roughriders.
Absolutely. Trevor did have a limp at one point in this game, so I would make sure he's very protected, but also we talk about the short yardage. It didn't work out on that first down, but I call it 4-minute where you're trying to kill the clock. It's very hard to stop him in the run game because they're so physical up front.
He's completed 13 straight passes. Harris in again on the 2nd and 8 after the 2 yards by Stevens. Play clock down to 5. On the 2nd and 8. Quickly gets rid of it. It is caught. It is a first down to Sean Mims. On a night I'm sure he won't forget, where young receivers got a chance to star as well. Dylan Jete, Deshaun Mims in his second year out of the Regina Rams program.
This is the 3-minute timeout.
3-minute warning is given. And it's a 15-point lead for Saskatchewan. Taking off in the second half. Offense. The Redblacks just haven't had an answer. 3 minutes to go. Time to hand out Wilson's game ball. Who you got?
I got to go with Trevor Harris. Couple options tonight, but the chatter coming into this thing. What's going to happen without Sam Emilus? What's going to happen without Schaefer Baker? He's got 401 right now, 2 TDs and interception, and it wasn't just one guy. Keyshawn Johnson's got 133. Johnny Johnson's got 117. Mims has got 84. Jete's got 53 and a tutty. I mean, what more can you ask for from performance from your quarterback in a game like this?
So the Wilson's game ball going to Trevor Harris, 12th career 400-yard game. And Tommy Stevens back in, spelling Harris on those running plays. Harris, by the way, just completed his 14th straight. He's got that streak going. And there he's coming back on. A little bit more, just under, mentioned 3 minutes to go. Third 400-plus passing game this season.
It would be kind of cool right now. So they've got Stevens in at quarterback.
8 right, 18 Oscar, wide 4 steps, 50 right. Go ahead.
And they've got Harris out at flanker.
There you go.
They get a little throw out there. I don't think that's what Mark Mueller wants.
Stevens at quarterback, Harris wide to the left. Just wanted to call that. Oh no, it's a running play. And he takes a pop, and Stafford hit him, but Tommy Stevens spins around and just keeps going, picks up another few yards. And I hope Harris was running out his route.
Ottawa called the timeout. Timeout, Ottawa.
You don't want him taking the playoff if he doesn't think he's getting the ball, right?
No question, no question. You know, every team's got a different grading system, Rod. And for us back in the day, it was plus or plus minus. So let's grade Trevor Harris here on the first plus is if he knows what he's doing. The second is if he did a good job. That's how we were graded on every play.
This is your department.
So it seems like we're in good shape here. He knows what he's doing. I'm going to give him a plus on knowing what he's doing. Oh.
Was there a route in there?
I think his job there was to make sure. I'm trying to help him out. I think if I'm great,
I was watching that replay thinking, okay, at some point we're going to see, some movement downfield, but
yeah.
Oh, that's what an awesome night. What an awesome career. It's still going strong. You talk about 4-0. He's 40 years old, goes over 400 tonight, goes over 40,000 for his career. And at this point in his career, 14th season, the projections over the course of a full season would be better than anything he's had.
It's unbelievable to watch, Rod. And for me, a guy who is really a football junkie, the way he plays the game it's just special to see it in person.
Stevens again. Doesn't throw to Harris. Bit of a surprise as he keeps it. Tommy Stevens calls his own number. Works it down inside the 15 and another first down.
I like that. I was looking at it, I go, doesn't throw to Harris. Oh, yeah.
I don't want to start something here, but I thought Trevor was pretty open.
Yeah.
They could have faked the run. And
I'm telling you, I bet they got something. They're not going to bring it out tonight in a game where they're up 15.
Yeah.
But I bet Mark Mueller's got something dialed up, a little funky, just in case teams want to go to sleep on them.
So they're setting the table tonight, right?
Yes, exactly.
Well, been a lot of injuries in the receiving department.
Trevor's lined up on the wrong side.
There he is. Now he's going the other side, but didn't think it'd come to this. Here's Bertrand O'Donnell. He's been running hard in this second half. He gets it down to the 10. And they just grind it out. 2:05 on the clock, up 15 in complete control here, and some smiles now breaking out with the Riders is number 7. We know what an offensive weapon he is, and good to see him stay out there.
I don't think they're going to do this, Rod, but it'd be kind of fun. Listening to that play call, it's not going to happen. I was going to say it would be kind of fun if they maybe had a little play action here. Again, probably not the time to do it, but.
Oh, Stevens running again. 3 touchdowns last week, 2 tonight, and he carries it again.
Yeah, and I would snap this ball with 2 seconds left on play clock and go for it on 3rd and 2.
Yeah.
And if you really wanted to have some fun, you in this 4-minute mode where Tommy Stevens is.
You want to see it pass the number 7, don't you?
I'd actually like to see it pass. Darius Bell, number 53, is playing tight end.
Ace right, X slide, 10 rollback, 1-4 fade, Z-wrap, 2 lead, 1 over.
Listening in on that, we might have some action here.
Well, let's see what they do. Talk about setting the table. I mean, Stevens keeps it, runs it, touchdown number 3. Tommy Stevens, another hat trick for the 2nd straight week.
A lot of misdirection, Rod. Again, when you have an offense like this, you got an extra offensive lineman playing tight end. You've got a receiver really tight to the line that's physical. You got a quarterback that's big and physical that can run.
11 touchdowns. That's a new career high for Tommy Stevens. 3 on the night. Point after by Hale. 1:17 on the clock. Saskatchewan about to improve to 6-2, which would tie them at the top of the West with Edmonton. Now the Elks have a big one coming up this weekend against the Alouettes in Montreal.
That is a game where I am really excited to watch because it obviously has huge implications. Look at this. Just the juggernaut here, Tommy Stevens.
Well, that was the old-fashioned way, and then further distance here. Gets that one from 6 yards away. And the tribute to Steve Austin. Touchdown number 3.
Going back to that Elks-Alouettes game, both of those teams are also extremely physical. So you look at, especially the defense of Edmonton versus the offense of Montreal. I would argue that both those units, the core principle, beyond all the great players, is physicality. So that matchup is going to be a lot of hard-hitting, absolute grit, tough football that I'm excited to tune into.
How about that quarterback-receiver combo?
That's right. That's right. Solid night for that QB-receiver combo.
Yeah. A couple of QBs and a big night in very different ways. By the way, Trevor Harris looks like he could end the night with 14 straight completions. No receptions, but lots of completions. And I said the remarkable career for that guy on the left. Both of them on this night, but for Trevor Harris, just keeps going. The Grey Cup MVP last year, 40 years of age.
And he looks so smooth. Like, to me, when a quarterback is in control is when pre-snap he knows exactly what the defense is doing and he knows how his play call fits into it. And that's where it's so much fun to watch him.
And a quarterback change for Ottawa. McLeod Bethel Thompson, who was with the Alouettes last year. He'd been with Edmonton and the Argos before that, is in now. He'd had some reps already for the Redblacks coming into that play, but just here to clean up here for Ottawa and facing another loss. McLeod 3 for 4 for 30 yards coming into that play. And Jake Mayer, you know, the stats, the misleading thing about even the Mayer numbers at 339, and he was over 300 last week, Bethel Thompson, and up a little bit high for Pimpleton and incomplete. But Jake Mayer's projections in terms of passing yards, even on a winless team, Luke, are better than any point he's had in his career. Now, I know that's misleading.
Agreed, but he started slow, as did the whole offense, and the narrative develops, oh, you know, you shouldn't be playing. If you really take a deep dive into his film, the last 4 games he's played, he has played well enough for this team to win. He has. That's just a basic fact. I will die on this hill, Ron. I'm not saying he's played at an MOP level. I'm not saying he's played the game to create a way to win. He has played well enough to win football games for Ottawa.
And this team has a lot of problems.
And
I mean, that's preventing them from winning games.
And they have a lot of limitations.
Yeah, like running the football, as you talked about.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And then to make matters worse, they make some of the most ridiculous mistakes offensively that I've ever seen.
And they had a couple of those tonight. So falling to 0-8 now. And Hamilton 6 points ahead, but the numbers don't lie. There's a catch just close to midfield. Bethel Thompson to Eberhardt, but under a minute to go now, and yeah, I mean it was. They were in a tough time the first time they played the Riders. Coming into that one back in week 5, that much tougher now. And Saskatchewan, as mentioned, in a tie at 6-2 with Edmonton. Now they play again one more time this year, but they just split 2 games, and the Elks still have a game this weekend. Coughed up by Bethel Thompson, hit from behind by Liam Hoskins. Coughed up the football, and a strong note there for the Rider defense as Benoit Marion falls on that. There's your turnover story in keeping with the way this game has gone.
McLeod Bethel Thompson has had 4 snaps. He got drilled on the first snap, which he completed. They kept him clean on the second. He got absolutely lit up on the third. And here's your 4th one. And I get that it's garbage time, but you're rushing 4, okay? And we take this hit. And again, it's not, we didn't get beat there badly, but it just, puts salt on the wound that you have your backup QB in. He's in for 4 snaps, and he's on the ground for 3 of them.
The new kneel down rule, 33 seconds on the clock, and this game a foregone conclusion. And Ottawa goes to Winnipeg next week, but they'll do it with a record of 0-8 as the losing start continues. And going back to last year, 14 straight games. Much different story for Corey Mace and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Another great night for Trevor Harris and 2 friends. They coached together. They've won championships together. Corey Mace and Ryan Dinwiddie. A quick embrace there. With Trevor Harris coming into this game, was projected this season for going well over 5,000 yards, about 5,800, and didn't do anything to diminish that tonight, going over 400 yards for the game.
Tough time to be a Redblacks fan. You feel for him. But on the flip side, Rod, the Saskatchewan team is the real deal. That division is going to be really fascinating to see how it plays out.
And that's with the injuries that they've had. Yeah. Players did step up again, Luke.
And extremely well coached as well.
We'll be in Vancouver tomorrow for the Ticats and the BC Lions. That's it for Mosaic. Thanks for watching Friday Night Football on TSN.